I think women and men don't have enough conversations about what healthy love looks like. And healthy love does not look like when you mess up, you're scolded. Healthy love looks like giving you room to fail. And it's not in entrepreneurial world, there really is no such thing as a failure. You're learning and you're testing out. So in relationships, I've failed or not accomplished things in the way that I wanted, but I've also learned from those things. So it's about, again, that's why I say not enough people are actually, they don't know what love is. They don't have a really healthy idea of what love is. Before I found Bell Hooks work, I absolutely connected love to abuse, because growing up in a dysfunctional household where you're being cursed out, hit or whatever, kicked out of the house, you attach the person that is loving you and abusing you. And so I've never had domestic violence kind of abuse, but I definitely dealt with men who I should have probably not dealt with for as long as I've dealt with them. But once I hit my early 20s and found her work and her definition of what love is, and she said something I'll never forget. She says, love and abuse cannot coexist. And I was like, so if you have not done something, I'm not going to abuse you in your failure by, you know what I mean, talking reckless to you.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat inside the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then. Everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in. Belly scraping by, but now I'm paid. Look at the paper I raked in. I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the song at the war show. Becoming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You a Captain Save a whole you
What's up, everybody? You Control You podcast. Another beautiful day. Another blessed day. I'm very grateful for God, family, health, friends. Just normal progress that I talk about specifically today. I'm grateful for endurance, to be honest. It's been this past weekend was really packed. And yesterday, everything's been moving really fast and having a lot to do, which is always a blessing. I appreciate always being busy, especially doing the things that I love. But definitely when I woke up today, I was like, ooh, I'm feeling it. And just the grateful for the endurance and the discipline to be able to keep moving forward, and the patience for my students and my family that understand that the brain may not be functioning as fast as I need it to. So I appreciate them very much. With that said, we have Alder.
Yes.
Alder Sabrina Madison. What are you grateful for?
Yeah, this morning I'm really grateful for my granny, to be honest with you. My granny has progressing dementia, and it's progressing pretty quickly. But even throughout it all, she has never left her, like, my grandmother's like this little hood 4'11" black woman. And so she still has that fight. She's still gonna snap off on you. She will tell you she cooked her greens this morning, but she has not, because her stove is cut off. But I love that she's still like, I'm cooking my greens, weenie. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to go for a walk. But nobody say anything crazy to me. That's my granny. So I'm thankful, because mostly for her, and that I can still chat with her to this day, is because when I had my kid as a teenager, my grandmother was one of the first people who was not mad at me and was like, women have been doing this for years. You'll be all right. You'll be fine. So I'm thankful for her that I can still get up and talk to her in the morning, and that she still has like that fight, So, yeah.
Nah, that's super dope. Man, grandmothers are awesome. Man.
Yeah, my grandma lit.
Yeah, that's the truth. And the fact that she has such a good soul, that even with that going on, it still shows. That's amazing.
Yep.
So my first question, my first thought process is, I remember people trying to talk me in. It seems like every time, wherever I've lived, someone's tried to talk me into being an Alder. And the last person that did it is when I was living, when I had a home over by the Salvation Army building over there. And so Will was like, oh, you should run for Alder. You should run for Alder. And that's Will Green. And I was like, And every time someone talks to me about it, I think about it. And then I think about, they're not going to like the way I speak. They're not gonna like the way I move, and they're not gonna enjoy everything I'm doing. I think I'm gonna just keep mentoring people on this side of things. So what was it that called to you to go from mentoring people to pushing against the grain. Basically, for lack of a better word, in the street.
Yep.
What made you cross over and say, okay, I'm going to do it here behind closed doors? I'm going to do it over here differently.
Sure. So to back up, I was not born and raised in Madison. So I grew up in Milwaukee. I grew up on 34th and Center. And when you grew up in an environment where my family's super dysfunctional, there's all kind of, my brothers are in and out of prison. My uncles are in and out of prison. And it's just real wild. You know what I mean? And so, but the difference between Madison and Milwaukee is that I got to see Black people own everything, do everything, whether you're my principal, the realtor, the corner store's business owner. I got to see Black people do everything. So when I moved to Madison, both my son and I experienced a lot of culture shock because this like hyper Black community, we did not see that here represented. And so fast forward, I'm really busy in the community. By this time, I've created the Progress Center for Black Women, and the bulk of my work is centering Black women. Even though I've helped Black women win over and over and over again, I am still faced with a lot of barriers and hurdles in trying to help Black women win. And, I'm also a nerd. So I read a lot. I read a lot of data, and I was seeing over the years that actually not a lot has changed for Black people in Madison when it comes to policies to protect us, to help elevate us. And not a lot has changed. And so I got appointed how I got in office first was I was appointed. What happened was, over the years, people just like you were hitting me up. Sabrina, you should run for Alder. You should run. And I'm like, I curse in real life, y'all. I curse people out in real life. You probably don't really want that from me. And I'm also not swayed by status. I'm not swayed by people's degrees. I'm not swayed by your job title. Because I grew up super hood. I'm more impressed with the person who overcame crack addiction than I am with the person who is elected president. I got mad love for the person who overcome drug addiction. I'm impressed by that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm probably not who I really think I would be in office to a degree. And folks would say to me, well, that's exactly why we want you in office. You don't necessarily, you're not here because you want to be a senator or because you want these other titles that an aldermanic role can bump you to. And so long story short, an opportunity presented itself. I had been homeless before. I've lived in my car. I've lived in cheap motels before. I've been evicted as a young adult. I was evicted as a child in my mother's house, So the alder who was in office at the time was found to be an oath keeper, was tied to some oath keeper activities with who is now in our office again, administration. And he got called out. The kid's going to find you. I always tell people, don't mess around with these millennials and these Gen Z today. They're going to find your history. They found his history, shared it online, along with thousands of other folks across the country. It blew up in the press here. Now, when it blew up here, I was in New Orleans, being very in the streets for a whole week. And I wouldn't be bothered with anything that's happening in Madison. I was out there enjoying my life, and I started getting hit up like, hey, Sabrina, your Alder, we found out. I don't know how they found out where I live. People found out where I live to see if I would be the person who potentially would be, in the area. Someone found out that I lived in the district, and I was like, okay, y'all, I got 3 or 4 more days in New Orleans. When I get back to Madison, I'll meet with some folks and talk about it. And the last thing I'll say, the reason I said yes to doing the appointment, running, and then running for a second time, I did not like how this man talked about homeless people in his newsletters. He was saying things like, these men will be walking past women and children. And I'm thinking to myself, my uncle got stable through living in porch light shelters here in Madison. My brother, who suffers from mental health issues, is currently using a shelter to help with his stability. We are thankful for both of them because it helps us as a family manage it. And so I was like, wow, so you're trying to like really get people thinking that if my brother or my uncle walk past them, that they're dangerous, that they want something from them. And so it was not liking how folks talk about homelessness and all the hurdles that I've had to overcome and helping Black women win. I was like, you know what? I can be now the inside drafting policy. So, yeah. And the thing about it, too, is I don't think I haven't changed who I am in order to be in this. Now, I'm confident people don't want me there and people are upset by me being there. But again, I didn't grow up here. So I don't have like these long alliances to what doesn't work. I don't have, like, I don't care who you are. I don't care, your name on something or whatever. Don't do, okay,
Yeah.
So like Miss Peggy fed me for 10 years. I'm impressed by that. So.
Oh, that's dope. It seems like the people that I speak to that for the best way I can say it, the people that I speak to on here that are Black or brown that are doing something to help Madison aren't from Madison. That's what I've been hearing. That's a reoccurring message that I'm getting. Now that doesn't mean there aren't people that are growing up here and doing things. It's just more and more I see people are from Chicago, Milwaukee, from this area, from that area. And they've decided to make Madison home and really trying to do something more to help Madison. So with that said, what made you want to stay in Madison and decide that you want to help Madison instead of going back to Milwaukee? And working more there.
Yeah, so it's really about my family. I chose Madison because I didn't have any family here at the time. I didn't know that my uncle was actually here. And so I try to be very transparent about my family because a lot of us can relate to a lot of us have the same family background that I have. And so for me, it was I needed to escape like the dysfunction. My brother had just caught a case and this was like my best friend. He's going to be gone for like almost 15 years. And I was just exhausted. Dysfunction will exhaust you. Crime will exhaust you. Losing my classmates to prison or death was very exhausting. My son, Dad, who's currently in prison again, was never really present. And so we were free to do whatever we wanted to do. So I chose Madison after the women in my family had a year we were all trying to get along. And we're like, we're going to take a women's trip. And we came here and we stayed somewhere near the square. And I just remember walking around feeling it was a bit more quiet here. It was no shootings. I was like, it just feels like quiet. Like that stuck out to me the most, that it was quiet, that I wasn't hearing any gunshots, that people weren't like crashing cars. Like I had an old school Pontiac Bonneville that my brother made me sell in Milwaukee because they were burning people out of their cars to steal their rims. So I wasn't feeling that energy here. And I was like, I think I'm going to move to Maine. I'm going to take my stuff, I'm going to pack up our stuff and I'll move here. And the reason I stuck around for the time that I did is because I didn't want my son to have my brother's background, his dad's background, my uncle's background. And my son, unfortunately, or fortunate for us, he is the only man in our family where he does not have interruption by prison, drugs, gangs, all the negatives. My son is just a high school graduate, went to school. He works in tech now. He's a regular dude in tech. So that's why I stay. And I guess the other thing I'll say is one of the reasons why I stayed is because even though I came here absolutely with rose-colored glasses, I was also taken aback by it was seeming like some of the Black folks I was beginning to build community with here. I don't want to say that they were looking for white folks' permission to do things, but I also felt like there was this concern with if white people will allow you to do things. And I didn't have a concept of that in Milwaukee. White people did not like really exist in my life like that. So I did what I wanted to do with whoever we wanted to do it with. We did it together. And I didn't have a concept of like whiteness plays such a role in things here. And then the other I'm also, I'm the oldest of my mother's children. So I'm used to doing what I want to do and not asking other people for permission. And so there was this energy early on here. People like, oh, you should meet with this Black lady. You should meet with that person. And you would try to go sit down and break bread with them. And they were like very standoffish to me early on, and still to this day. And it was almost like I had to work with you. I had to do it your way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, one, you're not even trying to help me. And two, you trying to like finesse me into something that is not even my vision. And so I had a vision that we can create this Madison that is good for us too. And it doesn't have to subscribe to like these old ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I don't have to ask y'all permission to do anything.
See, that's so dope. That's so dope because what I like to call that is a disruptor. I haven't caused disruption in a positive way my entire life. So it's But that's the one thing that I learned when I first moved to Madison, when I first came here, is people look at you differently and standoffish when you're trying to do something. And it's always this feeling of, I don't want to say crabs in a bucket, but it's like they're so worried that you're going to take from them when everybody can eat. Everybody can eat. And it sounds like that you went through and still go through.
To this day.
Man.
And that's why I tell people, like, and not to say that everybody should be hood in order to understand it, but when you come from an actual hood and everybody got to hustle to make it, and you pour together, you come up together, you eat together, your lights off together, you understand how to get it together. So we're not trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Oftentimes here, and I'm not saying that because there's some really good people here. Oftentimes they're also not from Madison. But I've met some really good Madisonians in my work here as well. But what I found here is that the hustle is backwards here for whatever degree. It becomes very like about me, about just my individual come up versus like we all can eat. And like I'm supposed to, how I look at it, even in me being Alder, people know when I walk in a room, I'm talking about very specific people, and I'm very blunt about who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Black families here. I'm talking about Black women or Black men or Black kids. I'm very specific. Yes, I'm Alder of the entire community, but when I go in a room, I know I'm there for Latino kids sometimes I'm there for Hmong kids, and I'm very explicit with don't care, because if one thing Madison is going to do is talk in circles about an issue, and I don't have time for that. So yeah.
No, I love that. See, I didn't think it was possible to be an Alder and speak your mind, because I would prefer to swear a lot. And I'm not nice. Like so it sounds like you were able to blend, still be you, and learn how to navigate it and still work.
I just remain myself 100%. I might not go in a room and be like, MF this, that, and the other, but I may be like, if as a white woman, if you're in this room and you're crying today, you're going to disrupt my ability to get a point across. I need you to leave the room. I may not say, some wild to her, but I'm basically saying the same thing to her.
See, what I worry about, and this is a conversation that I didn't know if we were going to dive into, but I like the road where it's going.
Sure.
As a man, and as a man, like no one looks at me and knows exactly what I am. I kind of like that. But as a man, if I ask that woman to leave the room, I worry how something's going to be said that I am, as a man, as a big, like I'm a big dude.
Sure.
As to ask this woman to leave the room so we can get something across, that I'm going to be looked upon now as uncaring.
And that's why it's so important to have collaborators, like who you have real collaborators with. So if you and I are like, let's say we're both Alders and serving in an automatic capacity, and we know we're coming into a meeting, and from history, these folks will sort of like turn the attention on themselves by coming in a room crying when you're talking about how kids are treated at their school, for example. So you and I can work behind the scenes to say, okay, I'm going to address this. You pick up that, that. But oftentimes too, for whatever reason, people sometimes they are so afraid of making white people mad, especially white people with access and money upset, that they hold all that back. And they complain. People hit me up all the time to complain. But when I need you to complain in a meeting, that's what I need you to do. When you calling me in the back room, I ain't gonna do nothing for me.
I feel that. Well, I'm not running for Alder now. I don't think I'm selling my house anytime soon. And you're doing great work where I'm at. So I'm good with that. So
I'm a competitor, so if you ever want to compete with me,
I do not.
I like competition.
Wait a minute. See, now you saying that?
I like a challenge.
I actually felt it in my chest. Like, wait a minute, you gonna walk away? She said she just said check up. Like, let's go. So
because it's good. Healthy competition is good, but it also forces people to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'd rather, instead of competing with you, I'd rather talk with you and see how we can make the neighborhood better. As what we talked about, like before we started rolling, is I would love to have a second location, and over on that side of town. When I started looking at bigger locations and moving my gym, of course, the first thing I thought of was, well, why am I driving 20, 25 minutes to go to work when I could possibly have it right here in walking distance? And that gives me more time with my son. My son is about to turn 15. He's freshman in high school. Of course, I want more time with him. And so, but that wasn't a possibility. So like, I'd rather collab about those things, about mentorship, instead of, hey, let me compete with you on these things, because I can see already, we are similar in some ways where we are going to be very outspoken.
Sure. Yep.
And we may not always agree, but I believe we can agree to disagree.
Yep.
And still be cool.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have that than anything else. So how is it? Man, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this shit no more.
Just go.
As being a woman and being an alder is one thing. I can imagine, because that, to me, it still seems like it's a boys club. Like I know more about male alders or men in office. But I have to imagine, and you spoke to it already, being a woman of color, being a black woman that doesn't hold anything back. What is that like, serving in office in a city where they say it's one of the greatest cities to live in, but when you start looking at the statistics, we lock up more people that are black and brown, and we don't graduate as many black and brown people as other places. So what are some of the barriers and challenges that you run into as a black woman, as an alder?
First, I got to say, the biggest barrier is black men, because there ain't enough black men here who are in my age range, who are dateable, marriageable. So one, I want to just say, we need to increase the number of black men living in Madison, like exponentially, because I have to travel. That's why I be in New Orleans. That's why I go to Milwaukee or Chicago. I'm in Hyde Park all the time, at least once or twice a month, because there are a plethora of black men.
Wait,
so
I'm going to get that out there.
I just want to get that out there. There's hella black men everywhere else. And they here. They do be here. But what I have found, like I used to host a conversation mixtapes, right? And as we grew, black men started running through all the other women. And I'm not, I ain't mad at it. Do your thing. But less black men were available to come to those events because they were afraid of running into 2, 3, or 6 people that they had dealt with. Now, I love brothers. I did the mixtape because I'm one of people who got mad love for black men. Like, I love y'all. Man. I really mess with black men, but y'all got to start bringing y'all friends to town. So that's one of the first barriers I want to address since we here.
Well, let's stay on this topic. No, we're gonna stay on this topic. We're not moving.
Then I can move on. I can go to the other part of the question, but I wanted to at least, if we talking about being a black woman in policy work, black woman in nonprofit, I was a teen mom, so my son is grown and out the door. So, black women with a dysfunctional family, but the number of eligible black men in Madison it's like a emergency situation. It's an urgency.
Well, let me. We're gonna stay on this topic because,
and we can go to the. But I just wanted, because you gave me.
We staying here.
You gave me room.
We're staying here.
This is one of my largest barriers.
So, when you say lack of black men, right? First of all, let's just be honest. There's not a giant black community in Madison. It's not like there's, What kind of men are you looking for? Because the one thing I know, speaking with women, whether it's black women, white women, it doesn't matter, Latin women, is that they're always shooting really high for the men. And I have no qualms with that, right? Sure. Like, it's when I was going through a divorce, all of a sudden people were talking to me that I didn't even know. And they were like, oh, well, you're a great dad and you own a gym and so I'm a business owner. You're shooting your shot high. Like, I get it. Cool. My one thing I asked them is like, so if I worked at McDonald's, and I never missed work, would you give me the same shot? Well, no. So my question is, what are you looking for in black men, and what can't you find in Madison?
Sure. So first, I got to say, I'm looking for the person who's looking for me. I don't have like some wild list, right? So the men, and I'm not, so men.
You have a list though.
No, I actually don't. So I have a list of, it's more so, it's not necessarily a list of black men. It's a list of like goodness, a man who like, I'm going to be bored if you don't read. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we hold a conversation? So if I suggest a book, or I'm used to men that I date, we read together. Those are things that I am attracted to. But for example, the men who do hit me up, like I had a man who I met at a restaurant, and he took my name. I guess he entered it in Cash App to see if that's really me, whatever. He does a bunch of Google search, which is cool.
Pause. I don't understand why he put it in Cash App to see if you're a real person.
So he put my phone. He told me he put my phone number in Cash App to see if that was, I guess, my real name or something. Because my last name is Madison. People be questioning my last name all the time.
Yeah,
so he Googles me.
See, that's just an interesting. I would be wondering, like, why Cash App? Like, what Cash App? Like,
so he put my name in Cash App.
I'm old.
Yep. That's what I said too. I'm gonna Google you, but I'm gonna go look at your CCAP. Not
there you go. There you go.
So he looks me up or whatever, and he Googles me. Now I got hella press. I got national press, a ton of local press. He finds all of this stuff about me, all my accomplishments. Now the man is scared. He sends me a text message like, "I don't know if I could deal with you. You did." I mean, he know my accomplishment better than me. That was absolutely unattractive for me because whatever. Then another one, and again, these are all eligible men, pretty dope dudes. No one is like they're average, regular guys. The other guy, I may be talking for maybe 6 or 7 weeks or so. He takes me out to a restaurant. Now we're going out on a regular basis. We go out to eat. And I would suggest a place where I don't really know people, because I know people stop me a lot. We go out to eat. We're somewhere on the west side. 2 or 3 people, in a restaurant, they stop and talk to me, say hello. And we get up to go, or he gets up to go pay. And somebody had already paid for the food, like our food or whatever. He was offended. He was like, "So you just be talking to everybody?" See, I was like, "I told you." He was very like, that upset him that people stopped me. And I was like, "Well, yeah, I just want to be real with you then. People buy my coffee. People pay for my food when I'm out all the time. I can be out with my mom and my son, and somebody would just pay for my food without me knowing." But I don't think that he could deal with that level of engagement. And then the last one I'll share is that I think men sometimes believe that if their plans don't work out with them, or they don't follow through, that I'm not going to have any plans or something. And so this guy, I gave him 2 opportunities to schedule something, do something. Both times he's like, "Oh, my kid, this," or, something. And then the third time, I was like, I always tell people, hit me up in the morning, because sometimes, so I can know you still want to kick it. Because otherwise I'm going to go I have limited time in my weeks. I'm going to make me some plans. He didn't do it. So somebody else hit me up. I was like, "Yeah, let's go see Sinners of all, things again for the 4th time." And that person hits me up around 3 or 4 o'clock, talking about, do I still want to hang out? I'm like, "I told you, hit me up in the morning." He didn't do it. And then he was so upset. He was like, "Well, I would have liked to see you tonight." I'm like, okay, I'll be available tomorrow though,
What?
So
where are you meeting these men?
They're right here in Madison. No, okay. Y'all brethren.
They're not my brethren. First of all, they're not my brethren. Let's not.
Don't try to dump your men now.
No. They don't, because they don't function. They don't function in a way that I would associate myself with.
Somebody told me I was too game conscious too, and I was like, "So you want to be able to run over me?"
What does that mean?
I don't know. He told me I was too game conscious.
What did he say when you said?
Because it was just like, I want to say we were either making plans to go somewhere. And again, I think sometimes men believe that I'm supposed, or they want to be like fawned over or something. I don't know. And I'm like, if you don't call me I'm not going to be upset if you're not calling me or whatever. There's like a plethora of men who will call if you're not calling. And I think maybe I'm confident I probably was a little offensive in that conversation. But he was like, you two game conscious. Because I was like, listen, if you want to spend time with somebody else throughout the day, it's okay. I'm not going to be upset with that. We've made no commitment to each other. Just say that. You don't have to like give me 3 reasons why we're not hanging out. And he was like, well, you two, you two game conscious.
I'm this is why I'm confused. Okay.
That's because y'all, not you per se, but some of y'all, your brother.
I'm confused again. I'm gonna say
I will go to the text thread. I will go pull out the text thread on
I'm gonna say this right now. They're not. More than likely, I'll be shocked if I know any men like this.
I'm gonna go look at our mutuals.
Let alone if I hang out with them. Please do, because so I can make fun of them. So this is why it's mind blowing for me, because like I'm about to turn 45.
Okay.
And I'll make jokes that I'm old, but I know I'm older, and I know I'm from a different quote unquote generation.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, since day one, I just thought it was easier just to be a straight shooter when it came to women. And it's something like, I didn't grow up with my dad. My dad, I met, like, rest in peace, but he was a Rolling Stone. Like, that's how I call him. Like, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Like, that was...
Somebody said stand no business.
Yeah, I got him. I got us. I got us.
Y'all look, and let me pull out my text thread.
But like my dad, I got a brother that is 2 weeks older than me from a different woman. Like that's how my dad was. My dad was a mover and shaker. So my mom was like, look, just be honest with women.
Yes.
So, okay. And then when I was younger, I think I was like 13, and I shot my shot at a grown woman. And she said no. I was like, oh, this ain't the worst feeling in the world. And I just kept shooting my shot. And then I dealt with the no's. It was no big deal. So I don't understand it, because if I approach you, I'm like, one, if you gave me your name and number, I'm not putting in Cash App. I might Google you.
He was like 52, like 40, 48.
See, that's 48 doing too much, like a next generation. It's like this new generation. It's what you do shouldn't intimidate me regardless of what I do. And that's what I stand on. So if you're doing all this stuff, you're an alder, you're running this, you're doing that, first of all, that lets me know that you probably don't have time for games.
Yep.
So if I don't want to be serious, I come to you now, hey, Sabrina, I know you're doing all this, and you're probably a pretty busy woman. I am looking just to go out once in a while, maybe have a couple enjoyable nights throughout the week. I'm not looking for something serious, and I don't want to waste your time. If you're okay with that, then let's get to know each other. I don't know what the time, like right off the jump.
Yeah.
Like, so going into it, right? No, instantly. Oh.
But the thing is, I don't think men, when you say that to same conversation to men, I don't think men hear that either.
If you say that to a man?
I'm never out here like, like I'm not the kind of person who's like, when I meet somebody, I believe you're about to be my husband, or, my son's 30. I'm not out here looking for a stepdaddy no more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's not where I'm at. I want to hang out. I want to be able to take trips. I want to read a book together here and there. And I want to be able to bounce ideas off of you. If something flourishes beyond that, cool. But that's when I meet men, I'm going out mostly because I like to also have a social life. I like I just love men. You know what I mean? I love hanging out with men.
It does. I can see why that would intimidate a man, because you are now presenting yourself as the dopest woman in the world, because it's like, wait a minute. So we can hang out.
Sure.
We can enjoy coffee or a book.
Yep.
Right. And we can spend quality time together a few nights a week. But you don't need me to text you the next morning.
Absolutely
automatically.
Not.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so for men, you present as the dopest woman a man could ever meet if he's not trying to settle down. And the issue with that is that men have to be real with themselves. And we are very sensitive, emotional creatures. We always say women are emotional and sensitive, and you are in a different way. If we get presented with a woman that is like that, and the quality nights we have are really good quality nights, all of a sudden we will all of a sudden get pulled in.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
and it's just say that, you know what I'm saying?
But
and then we have a discussion to see if that's what we're both at.
Do you understand? This is a normal conversation that I'm realizing more and more. Men just don't know how to be vulnerable, and so
that's
what
why I will pull out a book with a man in a hot second to gauge his level of being able to be loved and knowing how to love.
So it take.
I'll do it in a minute.
You just said something so dope.
Because the first book I'm gonna read with a man is Bell Hooks All About Love. Especially if I can tell, like, there's some unaddressed stuff. Because, like, I did my work on myself. You know what I mean? Like, I've done my journey. I've done my healing. I absolutely realized at one point I was a toxic person in relationships. I was a person who was just, like, going through, like, not really thinking about emotions, people's feelings and things like that. I had to check myself. But I would read Bell Hooks All About Love or Salvation with a Black Man, because I realized Black men, for, all the things that Black men have to encounter and deal with in just being men and Black men at that they have, for some reason, not connected with, like, this vulnerable or softer sides of themselves. And I don't they feel this need to be hard to solve everything, to fix everything. But it also, at the same time, a lot of Black men are walking around broken with nobody to talk to, nobody to hear them. And they're looking to be fixed in the bedroom often. I'm like, that ain't gonna fix you.
That's
it's not gonna fix you. Being with broken women, it won't fix you.
What you just said was huge. And it's something that I've talked about on here for so long. Mm-hmm. Sex was my answer to everything. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It was like, I'm mad, have sex. I'm sad, have sex. Mm-hmm. I'm this, have sex.
Sex is a good healing thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sex will get you through some stuff. But
but it's not the cure. It's a temporary Band-Aid. It won't fix the long-term things. So what I also learned is that, because especially before I got married, the first time being single and then being single, married women wanted me just for that. Mm-hmm. They wanted me for that energy. And I was like, and it didn't even dawn on me until I got old enough to realize, like, oh, I'm just being used for this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I thought that was a compliment, right? I thought that was a dope thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Until you realize, like, oh, now I'm grown. Yep. I'm more than that. Mm-hmm. I can be more than that. And what happens as men is, one, we get taught early on, it's bragging rights to say, to know that you're sleeping with women. Mm-hmm. And then other women do find it attractive that you can attract women. Mm-hmm. So that also attracts them. And and we're not really showed by men how to be open. Like Corey and I talk about this all the time. We don't know. We never had grown men tell us that they love us and that it's okay to share these things. These are conversations that we have with our sons. Yep. It's like, hey, you cry if you need to cry. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Don't let it stop you from accomplishing your goals, though, but it's okay to be emotional. And constantly telling my son that I love him so he knows it's okay, and watching the next generation. It's not easy for men, and that's no excuse. They shouldn't figure it out. But it's hard for them to open up. And it's when a woman knows what she wants, when it comes to men and what she's willing to tolerate and not tolerate, that will you are just weeding through everything right off the jump. But here's the problem. Yep. Instead of, us men should help work with other men. Yep. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. How long do you think men would stay like that if women stop giving them access to things that are broken?
But see, that's the thing, because there is tons, I forgot the ratio of women to men now, but it's women overwhelmingly out here. There's way more of us than there are eligible Black men. Mm-hmm. And so if I am not wanting to deal with some toxic behaviors, you have, let's say 6 to 8 other women you could choose from over me. Yep. And I'm cool with that. I'm not going to fight with you to be abused by you at all. You know what I mean? Like, okay, do you. So for example, my son, I raised my son as a single mom. I made sure my son read all of Bell Hooks' work, especially a book that I recommend to all Black men, no matter your age or what you've been through in life, but it's called We Real Cool. And she really wrote this to Black men, about Black men, for Black men. But it helps Black men understand like why they are kind of where they're at today, and their emotions and their feelings and their relationships, their lack of love, all of those things. And so, like, for example, when you mentioned the whole list thing, I just remember thinking that I was out with one of my homeboys, and he's like it's probably two or three of them, but the three of them, I'll just say, they're all very attentive men. You know what I mean? Like, they pay attention to everything, whether you drop something, they're right there to pick it up. So on my list, I was like, ensure that I'm with somebody who pays attention. You know what I mean? It's those kind of little things. And it's more so, I really believe that when you write things down, those things will come eventually to fruition. So it's less about the man meeting those things. It's more so making that thing come to fruition for me. And so, so I don't know. I don't know. There's just an abundance of Black men. There's just not a lot here. So oftentimes I am in Hyde Park because there's a plethora of Black men. I will say, I tend to meet men too who, I don't know if I come off as the parental type and that I want to be like a stepmom. I don't mind if a man has kids, but I also feel like if you have kids, you need to be your kid's parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm unwilling to date people who do not take care of their kids, who it's always the other person's fault. If you ain't fighting for your kids, like, I can't fight for a relationship with you.
Yeah, see?
So
Non-negotiable.
Yeah. So that's probably my one thing where I'm like, because again, I come from a family where, my family members are doing time for murder, for drugs, for bank robbery, for some very heinous crimes. So I'm not here really to judge you based on your history. I've dated somebody who did time, not for like a crazy crime, but it's also like, my patience is very thin for people who don't want to figure their stuff out. Like I'm just unwilling to tolerate a whole lot of stuff that it's your stuff that you haven't figured out yet. You know what I mean?
So you've, man, I don't.
Your chat is going crazy.
Well, I can't see it. You gotta.
Not enough people read is a big problem. Yeah, and again,
you gotta scroll a little, Corey.
What I will say is that I have a good friend. I won't name him here because people have accused us of being in a relationship before. Because I think too, people often look at Black people, Black women and men who are really friends, and there's nothing between them, and they question the relationships. Like, we literally will kick it and talk about what we're reading as a group of friends who all have had our own struggles in our relationships. And people were hitting that person up, asking were we talking because he was interacting with some photos. It's a wild thing.
Yeah,
like not liking photos. That's why now I'm like, should I be not liking my friends' photos?
See,
are we in a relationship?
No, see that when all parties are single and there's no nothing's been talked about. What do they call it now? They call it boundaries. There's all these words, and so then that's you do what you want. That's all good. Basically, I think most of the podcasts that talk about things like this are a little too extreme and a little nuts.
They're finesse. So, a lot of these are finesse. They're finesse.
But what I'm saying, what I will agree upon, and you already mentioned it, there's way more women than men.
Yes.
And so if there's 20% of men that are quote unquote dateable, they're doing something with their lives, whether it's just a job or they're taking care. Like there's only 20% of the men that all the women want. You're basically working with very low numbers. Yep. You've made it lower for yourself because it also sounds like, one, because you've gone through healing. I don't know if healing ever stops, but you've gone through enough healing where you understand at least what bothers you, what upsets you, what causes stress for you that you don't want in your life. You're also successful career-wise. Now you've graduated to another tier of men that you are essentially looking for.
But I want to go back to your initial question though, about the McDonald's guy. I really want to answer that because And back when I was hosting the mixtape, we used to get questions like that. And I will always say, I don't think it's necessarily about women dating the man who like manages Burger King or works drive-through at Wendy's. It's about, there's also tension if I'm dating somebody who is a drive-through person at McDonald's, how he looks to me, how he looks at me. And am I just trying to control him because I have a better job or a better career or something like that? So, and it's also it's a mismatch in priorities. Now, I would absolutely date the homeboy managing the local fast food joint if he has aspirations to do something bigger. But if your aspiration is just to be the drive-through guy, then it's probably not going to work. But if you aspire to run that damn McDonald's, I will hope, we will be going to classes together.
That is what
that's
I think
different.
Men and women should understand.
Yeah.
Because what you just said is what men, I can put a room full of men, and the first thing they'll say is, they'll argue with you that it's not fair because if roles were reversed, men wouldn't care if you stayed at the drive-through position and you didn't aspire to do more. And what I try to explain to young men is that is our instinctual thing to provide, protect, secure, bring these things. So we don't care about the same things women care about. That's okay. You do want a man who's going to aspire to do more, that's going to be motivated to do more. He doesn't need to make more than you, but he cannot settle. He has to be willing to push himself to uncomfortable situations. Read a book, become more educated, become more knowledgeable about self and the world, understand how to maybe elaborate or expand your vocabulary, want to learn something more than just being at the drive-through. Cool. You got this under control. Now can you run this shop? Now can you run more shops? Because a woman, and correct me if I'm wrong, women want to multiply and make everything that you're doing better. You don't know how to make him better if he's staying stagnant.
Exactly. Yep.
If he expands and makes himself better, you know what to do with that now.
But it also, the finances is not, that's because it's all coming into one household. So at the end of the day, that's not really the big deal. Women want to feel safe and protected. So if I know your aspirations are to grow, and it could be a bump up, like it could be a couple bumps in like 10 years. It doesn't even have to really be ownership, but you can be, I forgot how the fast food area worked to a degree, but you could be like a regional manager, for example. You don't have to own it, but you could be like a regional manager. As long as you're aspiring to something that will protect the house and allow, because women who are like me, where, we might be successful in our careers and we may be in some sort of government kind of roles, we want to chill out. We tired. We want to come home and chill out. We don't have to worry about the future to a degree. We actually want to, when I'm out or really into somebody, I'm handing over a lot of the decision making to that person, because I have to make so many decisions throughout my day that it can be exhausting. I don't want to have to come on and figure out your decisions too. You know what I mean? Like people talk about, I need my woman to be my peace. Well, where is my, can we have equal levels of peace coming into the house for us?
I think what we're discussing right now, these are the type of conversations that I think more people should have. It's understanding the dynamic between a man and a woman, and understand that some of this is biological, and that's okay. The fact that you just said that you want to relax and just chill out, I could tell you right now, I don't know what that's like when I step out. If I have to chill and relax, then I'm instantly feeling like I'm failing. Because for instance, if I take you out, first of all, my back is never to the door. I'm sitting in a position where I could see everything. And while you're chilling, relaxing, having a great time, I'll have a great time with you, but I'm also seeing how this person's moving over here. I'm seeing how this person's walking over here. I'm seeing what everything is going on, because that is my job to make sure that we're always good. And the one thing that I know when I mentor teenage boys, and 99% of the time they're young Black men. The one thing that I talk to them when it comes to women is, look, just because your job is to protect, your job is to do this, does not mean it is your job to have full say-so over everything. It is not your job to say, do this, do this, do this. you're still working as a partnership. Just understand that you all have different roles in this partnership. It's and that gets lost sometimes. Like, there's nothing wrong with me doing the dishes, vacuuming the house, and cleaning the bathroom, because that's what needs to get done right now while you're doing whatever that needs to get done on your end.
Yep.
And so that gets lost also in translation when it breaks down men and women. So you really can't. Where are you looking for men?
Let me just say this. I am not the person who is actively out looking for men. I go places, I put myself in places where I know there'll be a plethora of Black men, like in Hyde Park in Chicago, on 53rd Street to be specific, or in New Orleans, or in Nashville. Like, I go to explicit places where I know they're at. And Black men, the one reason I'm trying to be transparent is because Black women here often feel very invisible, unseen. Like, people don't speak to us. And I really want Black women to know that it could be our experience here, but Black men really don't move like that around in other cities. Maybe some of them move here, but I've always had positive, healthy relationships and communication with Black men. I've always felt seen by Black men. I always felt like Black men. Now, there's been 2 disrespectful Black men, but these were never like people I was dating. These are like people in the community who just didn't like I was winning and they were not. I think that's what it came down to. They're very disrespectful. But I've met most of the Black men that I know in Madison through doing the Conversation mixtapes. And these are Black men who look out for me, who randomly will send me money for coffee or dinner or whatever, who just really, I feel like, will have my back. But these are, these end up being friends. And I tend to meet men who either I don't want to use the word intimidated, because it could be that's what they're experiencing, but I also feel like men have had it easier in being with women because they have so many at their disposal that they don't have to do the work really on themselves, because they can go. I have got homeboys who literally they can go from one couch to the next with not much question, they don't have to do much, and I'm like, get me something while you're over there at this point, have her, like, because it's wild, and like the way that they run through. But I also look at those same men and I can pinpoint to their growing up, their experiences, and why they are the way today and why they continue to behave in such a way. There's nothing pushing them to have to be different. And to be honest with you, do they really even have to?
Well, that's why I said it's men should hold men accountable, but men should hold men accountable. It would, if most of the women said, no, you cannot have this, no, you cannot do this, men wouldn't change. Men would instantly change.
We would have to have all of us women in agreement, because first of all, I feel like I shouldn't have to deny myself anything for men to get it together. And there's going to be women who will say that, like, we're not going to deny ourselves pleasure or the company of men in order for men to get their stuff together. But I do think, realistically, that would never happen. We know that's not going to happen, right? I think realistically, if men's goals are to be loved and be in loving relationships, then they have to sort of like come to the relationship also being willing to do the work on themselves and not always look to women to fix them, to heal them, to give them, I want to really be with somebody who, like, we both can check each other's stuff and help each other grow and be pushed. That's just for me. Not every woman, all women we're not the same. Like, some women, I got a friend girl who, she got married. She's like, I don't want to work. I want to be home. I want men to take care of me. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. And that is cool. I love it. But I need somebody who is equally motivated and I don't want to say career goal, but like the hustle. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I want to be with somebody who can read game, who just, I don't know, like, I can trust you to go out here and give me a good price for this car just as much as I can trust you to, like, make sure the bills are paid and you're not, skimming off the top of the money that's coming in the house for stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I just want to be with somebody at the end of the day who wants to be loved and love me correctly. Like, love themselves correctly and love me correctly. Because that's where I'm at in my life. I want to be loved correctly and I want to love you correctly. That's where I'm at.
Here's the funny thing, and here's the challenge for that. The only challenge that I'm hearing is that a man might want to love you correctly, but your rule book is different from the previous woman's rule book, and sometimes they don't realize that.
Yeah, I get it.
So everybody's rule book is a little bit different. What I will say is that it's not always how many black women are coming up to black men and really engaging them and speaking with them and speaking. Boy, I could say this. I've been in Madison since and now I'm mixed, so I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I talk to black men all the time. Black women. The thing
but
about
do you talk to them?
Yes, I can go to my phone
in Madison.
I talk to black men like this. How we're talking, I talk to black men like this. But all day long.
Do you talk to them and let them know that you're interested?
I have, but I'm also, in some respects, I am a bit where I subscribe to some gender roles where I feel like, okay, I will. What I will do is invite you out, or I probably flirt more than I should. Like, I just openly flirt because I really do love black men. Like, black men are like really, really gorgeous people. I would say that. And there's just so many different kind of black men. So anyways, get back to that. But I do try to make it known that I'm interested. But I also feel like it's been my experience that when men are interested in you, they will make it known. Like, if you're out there, you might ask, like, we should kick it sometimes or whatever. If they're interested, they're going to take a simple kick it a bit further. You know?
See, the rules, the only reason I'll defend men on this is the rules have changed so much. I tell men all the time, I'm happy I'm not out there dating.
Yeah.
Because if I come up to a woman and shoot my shot, I might actually get a photo taken just because I said, hey, how are you? What's your name? I thought you were like, I seen you. I find you cute. I wanted to know if I could have your number. Whatever might come out of my mouth at that moment of time. It won't be anything disrespectful. I just really want your name and number. Do you got someone? Can we talk? Can we hang out? Can we plan something for a future time? And I might actually get clowned for that.
Yeah, you may get dragged.
What?
So,
like, nobody dragging y'all. People dragging y'all for that.
We can, because things have changed so much. What you're speaking on is still being okay with the gender roles. What you're saying is you're still okay dropping the scarf, the handkerchief, and get our attention. Now you're not physically doing that. You're letting us know there's a green light to let us in. That's not what I am saying. Is that I've talked to enough men. That's not happening as much anymore. That doesn't happen as much anymore. And so because of that, there's this weirdness that goes on. On top of that, what's confusing in it, honestly, I had to read a couple books to understand this. So I've been told so often that we're equal. And it was like, okay, so I should treat you equally. And it took me reading some books to understand what that really meant. Because if I can't treat a woman the same way I would treat a guy, and I can't treat a woman I'm with the same way I would treat one of my boys. Like, how I have to.
And I don't want to be equal. I would say that I don't want no equal.
See, that's so different.
I don't want no equal. I will call a man to fix something in a hot second. I don't care. I will not pump I don't want no equal. I want equal in pay. I want equal in fairness in my accomplishments, but equal in a relationship, absolutely not. I am not doing work that I feel like I've had my brother do for years or somebody I'm dating do for years. It's not going to happen. I don't want, if we're talking about equal and like tasks that come as just being human, I don't want equal. Most women honestly do not want equal. We will admit that we can, like, I can go and fix.
You can admit that.
Women playing if they're saying that they can't do certain things. I will learn. I know how to change my oil, but do I want to do it? Absolutely not. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to call somebody to help me out, and I'm pretending that I don't know how to do it all day long. I ain't even going to lie to you.
I feel that.
As soon as a man walk up into this place, and immediately I don't know how to do it. Because some gender roles I absolutely subscribe to.
See, this is like,
as soon as I be at the gas station looking around too, like somebody around here to put my gas.
That's New Jersey.
I absolutely.
I could be doing regular basic stuff, and I will look for a man first before I do it for myself.
I absolutely love that. it's a conversation I've had with other men on here, and a conversation that I have with women, especially. It's funny because the relationship I have with my ex-wife, like she'll call. I get to hear horror stories from her dating, and sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I'm like, oh, these dudes really, they're out here wilding. Like they don't know how to act. It's under men don't know how to be the straight line.
2 weeks to be 50 bags. That's what I'm saying. For man is around. I can't do that.
I'm Crystal. I'm hearing you, and I'm with that. I am an old school man.
See, look, forget how to work hard. Yeah, I'm telling you. But let me say this. I will say that for women who it sounds like other women agree, it's not because we don't believe we can do it. It's just that we would prefer men do.
Yeah, and we would.
And men will do it. This is what I would say. Like, yes. I always feel like women don't give men enough sort of like, I don't know, believe in them enough, because I've had a man who was broke, about to lose everything. He borrowed money from his uncle to take me out. So men will rise to the occasion. If you give them a thing to rise up to, they will meet it if they want to.
What the conversation I've had with women that I've dated, and I can even say married to, because now our relationship is at a different place now that we're not married, is I want the room. I will try anything, especially because I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. I will jump off the cliff and do whatever I got to do. What I don't want is when I jump off the cliff, if I fall, I already know I fell. I already know I messed up. If I work on something and I mess it up, the last thing I want is to be scolded like you're my mom. Like,
I don't move like, and a lot of women don't move like that. I think women and men don't have enough conversations about what healthy love looks like. And healthy love does not look like when you mess up, you're scolded. Healthy love looks like giving you room to fail. And it's not, in entrepreneurial world, there really is no such thing as a failure. You're like learning and you're testing out. So in relationships, I've failed or, not accomplished things in the way that I wanted, but I've also learned from those things. So it's about, again, that's why I say not enough people are actually, they don't know what love is. They don't have a really healthy idea of what love is. And before I found Bell Hooks work, I absolutely connected love to abuse, because growing up in a dysfunctional household where you're being cursed out, hit or whatever, kicked out of the house, you attach the person that is loving you and abusing you. And so I've never had like domestic violence kind of abuse, but I definitely dealt with men who I should have probably not dealt with for as long as I've dealt with them. But once I hit my like early 20s and found her work and her definition of what love is, and she said something I'll never forget. She says, love and abuse cannot coexist. Ooh. And I was like, so if you have not done something, I'm not going to abuse you in your failure by, you know what I mean? Like talking reckless to you. And so, yeah. So also too, if someone is like, if you're really in this person you're with and it's really a really, really dope partner who really got mad love for you or whatever, you're not going to want to talk to them like that anyways. But also too, what men got to understand is that women are just as broken as men. Black women are just as broken. We've had to overcome a whole lot, still overcoming a lot. And oftentimes we are pitted against each other. And some men and women have not understood how to just be in it together with each other and figure it out. And we're looking at each other too often as like rivals, when it should be like, we should be getting bread, we should be building together. And like, I want you to win. Like, I remember being with somebody I was like, is you trying to compete with me, Joe? Like this is wild. Like this energy is kind of ridiculous. It seems like you want to compete with me. And, that's like not a good look.
See, right when you said that, if the first thing that popped, because this was someone you were dating?
This was somebody I was dating, and we were working together on a project together. And it seems like this thing was where I think he felt the most shine, but he also was not he wasn't a good organizer in the background. Like he was very chaotic, and it was showing in the thing. And here I am I'm cleaning this thing up that we're working on together. And that was becoming exhausting. But it was like this thing was giving him life to a degree. And I'm like, I kind of feels like you're trying to compete with me.
See, what popped in my head instantly is if I was with you, I would have said, in some ways, your feelings are probably correct because I love this project. I love what we're doing. But let me be real with you. I suck at organization. I love the fact that you're cleaning this up. But I also love what I'm doing on this project. Please, I am telling you that your feelings are probably correct, but let's not look at that as a negative because I don't want you to fail, and I damn sure don't want to fail on this project. So let's keep doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference. So when you say men, understand that my understanding of men, I am looking at men in a different light. I am looking at men as they know how to talk. They know how to communicate in some aspect. I am still not perfect, right? But I've had some great influences that I grew up on the block. I grew up in Illinois. I grew up right outside Chicago. And luckily, I'm very blessed that this man is still alive. We call him Pops. And it was just understanding that we as men have to be the straight line. Whenever I'm going through something I'm like, she's here and she's here and she's here and she's here and then she's all over the place emotionally. And it's like, he'll just say, just be the straight line because she'll eventually mellow out. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And so when you say there's not a lot of great men
in Madison
available,
there are a lot of great men, but they're married, they're in relationships, people don't know they're in a relationship. A lot is happening. They're in relationships with people who don't know that they're in a relationship with them. I deal with it all. I have really great married friends who are great guys. I never see anything wild with them. I got married friends who I know absolutely they're cheating on their wives. I know without a doubt. I have guy friends who are like me, single and, just focused on work and stuff like that. There's a lot of great Black men here in Madison. There's just not a lot of single.
There's not enough.
Yeah, there's not enough. Okay. The numbers are very small, but there's a lot of them in Hyde Park. I can tell you that.
Man, you love.
I love Hyde Park. It's like Black man capital.
So, are you? Man, that's wild. That's wild. So, when are you gonna bring one back?
Why do I need to bring a man here? Like,
are you gonna go there?
I will more. Look, I always joking tell my son, and I tell my friends, like, if you ever see me delete my Facebook and you know how to find me no more, I'd have left y'all and I'm laid up with a man somewhere in his house, his farm, his church, wherever we decided to move to.
So
I shut all of this stuff down for the right person.
Really,
I would shut it all down. I ain't even gonna lie.
Really old school.
I would, I want to be with somebody who like is good for me. You know what I mean? And if you're good with me, I'm willing to sort of like give up some of what I'm doing because for me, it's more about like, who am I spending my days with that feels good. You know what I mean? So like anybody that I've spent time with, the reason that the thing stopped for me is because it stopped feeling loving and stopped feeling caring. Or you were in conflict, like what I'm doing is too much of a conflict for you. So I also don't want to create a problem for you. If this is too much for you, I
just had this, you just touched on some things. You said feeling, you were just talking about feeling words right there. And it's funny, I just had a talk with my boy. He's married. And I'm like, why are you going back and forth with your wife? Like, look, she's either not feeling loved, she's not feeling heard. There's some kind of lack going here. And it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. She's just feeling the lack of something. Address that first. And like, you don't even have to argue. She's just not feeling something. And I'm like, we're not perfect. Like we, as men, we mess up. Like it's normal, but she's lacking in something. And what you just described, it's like, and it's so weird to say you're old school. And I wish I didn't have to say that though. I wish that was the norm because I believe what you're speaking about will bring out the best way I can say it so people on the internet can understand. It brings out the king in us because we want to me, a true man wants the pressure. We thrive under that pressure. Give us the stress that somebody wants to quote unquote, follow us, that somebody believes in us, that somebody wants us to succeed. Oh, give me that pressure. Stack it up. Oh, so wait, you're willing to move here and do this? Let me do better. Let me rise to the occasion. Let me prove to myself and to you that you're making the right call. Those type of men, that to me is a man.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, I feel like I can win anywhere. I moved somewhere where I know people and I can win there. I'm not worried about like being able to go somewhere and win, but I'm just not going to go anywhere with somebody who isn't good to me, if that makes sense.
So how tall does this man have to be?
None of that stuff really matters. You just need to be. I'm 5'1.5".
Okay, so you're not going to date someone shorter than you.
I haven't. The shorter man hasn't approached me. I've dated men I think Chris was like 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, so there's not a restriction on height. Okay. What's his you said money doesn't matter, and I believe you to a certain extent.
So if you're living in a shelter and you can take care of yourself, you shouldn't be, this is not a good time.
Don't shoot your shot.
But if you're like, there are men, like I will be 47 this year. And there are men my age who are deciding to go back to graduate school, So if where you're at right now is temporary and you're currently aspiring to something different, and you're actively in that thing to whether it's better income, better title, better degree, whatever the thing is, then I think that's dateable. But if you're someone who, just lost everything to your ex-wife, she just took it all from you, you in a rebuilding period. You got to build.
You're not trying to rebuild.
Yeah, you in a rebuild. And there's not anything wrong with that, but it's just like, you don't even have the room for attention to give to me.
More than
because
likely,
you're in a rebuilding phase. But if you're like someone who is like maybe mid-level manager, maybe your income is like, I don't know, $50,000 to $75,000, and there's for other people, and that man could be there and be in that role and retire from that role. For some people, that would be fine, and likely, in particular, that may be good for me. But I know myself well enough to know that, like, what I want to accomplish in the next decade is going to require someone who also understands. Now, if you could be that and be cool with me still aspiring and building something, my next level of life or whatever, then that's cool. But
I don't foresee you being attracted to that person, because
I've been attracted to that person. I won't name him though.
But for the long
haul,
because
yes.
The thing is, that's where I believe you can actually eliminate the money aspect of it, because it's not about what he's getting paid. But the thing is it's almost impossible for him to continue to grow and become better and make the same amount of money unless he's growing in other areas, like he's building something else. But again, the money is going to start trickling in from that. Yeah. And so
but if he will help me build my thing, which will bring more money to the household, that's the thing. You got to be willing to build something.
A we thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just a you thing anymore. It's a we thing.
So if let's just say he makes $50,000 to $75,000 a year, whatever. He's fine. He's stable. He sees his retirement, blah, blah, blah. Cool. But then if he's willing to give an extra 10 hours a week, helping me build this thing over here, then we will be good together, because you're using some of your additional time to help me. But if I am building this other thing and there isn't anything else you're working on except for going to work and coming home, and that's cool for you, then we probably we'll be in conflict, too much conflict. Okay. And it might not be a good match for us, I guess.
So 5'5" and above. There's no limit.
I didn't say that. I think the shortest man I probably dated, he might have been like 5'4" or 5'5", but I was way younger.
But
yeah, I don't really care. I don't.
Okay, again, so you don't care about height. What about build?
I've dated very slim guys to like Chris was like a really big dude, like football player kind of physique, like.
I'm built like a football player.
Yeah, I like bigger guys. I like slimmer guys.
So
I just don't like I would never date somebody who's probably like 110 pounds, Like you can't be like a two.
You won't feel protected by that guy.
And it's just that I don't know. I've never had the attraction. I'll just say that.
Like, the attraction I got you. Now, income somewhere between.
You got to be able to put some money away. You got to be able to not worry about your bills being paid.
Okay.
And you got to be able to have some money, like, if you're not planning for emergencies, that's also it's a red flag.
Well, that's a whole man.
Because at our age, we in 40s now. When you 40s,
Corey and I just had this conversation about just business.
You gotta put, and it don't have to be cash. It could be like your life insurance policy is connected to your emergency plan, but you got to be thinking that way or have a plan for that. Those are things where, and again, just to date, because I also don't think every man I meet, I'm gonna this is relationship material. Sometimes people are meant to help me with my business plan, help me, I don't know, talk about policy or something. That's why I say I never really talk about what it is I'm looking for, because I just feel like as I'm out in the community, I'm meeting people or whatever. And if we're talking and we're spending time together and there's something there, it'll happen, So yeah, I don't need plus my son, people be talking, I seen your son on Tinder. I'm like, y'all, I can't get on no apps because my son on the apps, I was a teen mom. We exist in sometimes the same places.
See, I'm so, man, I make a joke. If I became single within the next 3 to 5 years, I wouldn't even know where to find a woman because I live in my business and I'm never going on dating apps. That just seems like a waste of time to me.
I did it once and I was like, oh my God, this is a sociological experiment. I was like, it was a lot of fun, to be honest. People complain about it, but I had fun. I was copy and pasting the same messages to 6 to 8 people. I was just because at this point, you just got to this is a betting or something. This is like a gamble.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I had a blast for them whole little couple weeks and then it was done being entertaining.
I like to have deep conversations, so I can't even imagine dating a dating app.
Oh, they wild too on the apps. It's a hot mess. So yeah,
that's
so if I ever be really down bad and I can't buy myself lunch and stuff like that, I'm gonna get back on the apps.
I got you. So wait a minute. If you can't find a good, a single black
or brown,
black or
Latino
brown
men
man
is just fine too.
That works for you in this city. I will also challenge, where do we find the black women?
Black women all around y'all. They at church, they at the grocery store, they at Woodman's now.
Wait a minute. That are ready.
I got so many single black friends, black women friends. And these are my black women friends who also went to the mixtape, so they've all read Bell Hooks work. I could bring a whole.
So they're
together.
They're healthy,
making
is
good
what
money.
You're saying. Okay,
got good degrees, kids, and out of the house. Most of us were seeing parents.
Okay,
or young parents.
Because I know certain women I've dated in Madison, it was a problem even me opening up a door and they let me know, oh, wait, this is a problem. I'm just being a man and being a gentleman, opening the door. Interesting. That's interesting.
I can't speak about that. Only because I'm telling you, when men are around, my whole gender roles, I've subscribed.
You shut it off.
I don't even be caring about it. I'm like, it's a man here, y'all. He will take care of it. Y'all cool down. Cool out.
See, that is, and that's how your friends are.
Not all my friends are all like that. Some of them very much. And again, I don't want to I'm not trying to talk mad stuff about them, but I think because, and we have to sort of do everything for ourselves, take care of ourselves, make money, pay our bills, fix stuff around the house or whatever. I grew up with all brothers and a lot of men and just in our neighborhood. So I'm used to men being available to do stuff and want to do things, not just using men to do things, but men make themselves available to do the things. And where some women are like, well, I'll fix this. And I'm like, why not just call, one of our guy friends? And they're like, no, I'll do it, But I think, to be honest with you, black women have felt let down so much that it becomes second nature that you don't even realize you're doing this, that you're cutting off, leaning on black men because black men, for whatever reason in your relationships have I don't know, disappointed you. I guess I just, in my situation where, I've been disappointed by black men over and over, but I look at it a little differently because I've also, in the same time that I've been disappointed by a black man, there was another black man sort of taking care of the thing that the other one wasn't doing. So I get to see how black men are very helpful. They're very caring. They can be very loving, depending on, where they're at in their process or whatever. And that they actually want to do things for you and make you happy. So, and then they're like, my son's dad, absolutely disappointment. Ridiculous. He has not gotten his life together for a whole multitude of reasons. But I learned I cannot depend on him. So I'm not going to allow myself to be disappointed by his failures. And so I know that where it came to my son, I knew tons of Black men who could serve as a mentor to my son. So I leaned on them, and I would not lean on him, because I've been disappointed by him.
So what advice would you give women? Because I know what advice I can give men to help them out. What advice would you give women that could help them look past that disappointment, look past that, and actually look at a man, and more specifically Black or brown men, with hope, and not bring past pain and throw it at this man who actually just wants to be a man?
So I can't give advice for that specifically, only because I think it's been my experience that Black men have also helped me get through what I was dealing with, like having been a young parent without the help of my son's father, for example. So as much as I've helped Black men in their healing spaces, as much as they've helped me by just being available to me, for example. And so I would just say to women, Black women specifically, is to like take care of you. You know what I mean? Like invest so much into like working through whatever you've been through that I just can't say looking at Black men and walking into or encountering Black men, you should be feeling all of these things. You should be sort of like looking to see whether or not this is a healthy connection for you. I think the most important thing that Black women have to do is understand what does healthy look like, and being willing to walk away when it is unhealthy, and not look to Black men as projects. To be honest with you, like we're not here to fix you all. We can provide, we can provide a resource, but I also think when you do everything for some people, and this is just not a Black man thing, but you also handicap them. Yes. You know what I mean? Like if I'm with somebody, or I'm dating somebody, or I'm friends with somebody, and I share a couple of resources, and you don't do anything to move forward, that doesn't signal to me to do it for you. That because then now you could end up being resentful in that relationship. So I would just say to Black women is, first of all, there's a lot of brothers in Hyde Park in Chicago. I just want to say that. And one of my good male friends once told me in Madison, he was like, Sabrina, y'all husbands are not here. He was like, he lives here with his wife, but his wife met him, and I forget what city they're from. But she didn't meet him here. She met him somewhere else, and then she brought him here. So I just want to say to Black women, one, do what you need to do for you. We know the things that we need to work on for ourselves, because no one is going to come and save us. More than likely, no, we're not going to be saved. So work on you so you can understand what's good for you and what isn't good for you. And then save your money, girl. Buy you a ticket. Go to New Orleans. Go to Memphis. Go to Chicago. Go to Milwaukee. Even Minnesota. It's a plethora of men of like all different backgrounds too. It's some fine Somalia men in Minnesota.
You know, I can't argue with you because I'm married.
I just want to say, like, you don't have to be left. We don't have to be alone because we can't find our mate in Madison. We can go somewhere else and find them.
I live in your district, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a good man. I'm married. But I'm married. Yeah. So it's like,
you don't have no fight because you married. Yeah. So if you want to help us, this is how Black men can help us. So Black men listen to this,
please
how
help us.
Sit your friends down, the friends who you know are problemsome, and have a conversation with them and call them out on their mess. And then when you get them together, you can hit us up on a low. Like you could be like, hey, Sabrina, I done had a conversation with da-da-da-da-da-da. I think he ready, girl. You know?
See, here's the problem. I don't think I have any single friends either.
See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all be asking
Corey's married.
But y'all be asking about this and then don't have men in our background.
Isn't single. He's not married, but he's not single. So it's like
at this point, it's married men who are failing us at this point then. Because married men are not finding all the single Black men to introduce us to prepare them to be talking to women like me. So maybe married men need to do a bit more work on y'all single network, on some of the men. And then y'all need to get out there.
So we need to go find some single men that aren't about their life.
So I think some of us married men don't want to deal with the single men.
Yeah, we don't want to, like, because they don't bring,
like, they don't want to deal with them. Like, we are like, having to deal with
I know Corey and I, we both have boys. Yeah. Like, he's got 2, I got 1. Like I'm working hard to make sure he grows up to be a good man, and he can
which is
provide.
good. But now y'all single friends are without mentorship.
But we don't have.
They without leadership.
Wait, we're mentoring young men. They're just not in the age bracket. If we assume, I'll put it like, at least I do, because we're in the same age bracket. Mm-hmm. If a man is our age and he doesn't have an idea of where he's walking, that might not be the man you want to speak to. So what I am, wait.
He ain't got nothing to offer us either.
Yeah, there's
all I'm saying is,
like, because when I have a fire, and I just got done grilling some food, and I'm talking, and I want to talk to some men. I'm not the type of guy that's going to deal with excuses. Like, look, didn't we just tell you to do this, this, and this, and this, and you didn't do this, this, and this? Yeah. You don't want to help yourself.
Yeah,
that's why you can't find a woman right now. That's why you ain't got nothing right now.
But like, just the thing, he is finding women though. That man is finding women.
He's not. He knows what I mean when I say that, because he's not finding the woman that he wants. He's finding the quick, the quick fix. He's finding the Band-Aid.
Oh, also too, since you had me talk to advice to black women, also know when somebody is just, I'll just say, community property and not going to be your property. Like, you have to know that. Sometimes
Wait, how do we know that? How can we know that off the jump?
There's a way to know that some men are just for fun.
Oh, you're talking about men. Oh, okay.
Yes. Because oftentimes I have friends in my network who fall for, we all collectively know this is a community property kind of guy. He community property. And you're falling for him, and now you're getting into beef with other women, but it's like you're not going to change community property.
Why are you beefing over that man?
Yeah, you have to. I always say, if you're messing with a community property kind of man, you got to accept that that's what he is, and that's what you have him for.
Yo, like, I've never met a woman that is worth fighting for, especially out in public, if she's too.
Oh, I had somebody try to call me on some Shirley, this is Barbara stuff, and I'm like, girl, this is a community property. This man is only available to me for this, and this is what I do.
I do know they have Facebook groups, private Facebook groups, where they put men's photos up, and they talk about, this man is moving this way. This man is moving this way. Hey, does anybody know this man? Like, I've seen these groups, and that's interesting.
I mean, I've seen the groups, but it's also sad that that's the way we got to move. I always say, if my grandmother, my aunties can't read you well, and that's what I'm looking for. You could have messed with everybody and Matt. I don't care. You could have slept with 100 women before me. Don't care. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If I meet you and we good together, and I realize that you're good to me and you're treating me fairly, you're not lying to me, you're not getting over on me, and you're not going behind my back, I don't care about your 100 people history. Don't bother me at all. I don't care. We could be out. And
you are so old school.
The person, I don't care, because thank you for preparing him to be good to me.
You are very old school with it. I appreciate it. Wait, do you have any books out on this?
No, I just read a lot. I keep trying to tell people I'm a nerd's nerd. I read all the time. And then I also am, I really actually do have these conversations with men. We're just having them over lunch or dinner, or like, on the living room floor, for example. But I just think that I'm comfortable talking about love and encouraging other people to understand love and have a healthier relationship or whatever. But, there's have to be some willingness to do that.
Yeah, love. The one thing I've learned on the topic of love is, you've already said it. It's just dealing with your own mess. And it's okay that you got to deal with your own mess. And it's okay that the other person has to deal with their own mess. And for me, as old school man, I didn't know what to do with, I wanted to be equal, but I still want you to be a man. And I know it took me a while to learn this trick as well. Women will say what they want, and 5 minutes later want something different. And so
that's hormones.
I fully understand that now.
That's just hormones.
Like what helped is also having a daughter. My daughter is now 21, so that helped raising my daughter helped with a lot of that. And so I go back to men have to be the straight line. If we know what we want and where we're going, we don't have to cater to your wants all the time. And we probably should, and not probably, we shouldn't cater to your wants all the time, especially if it's going to be at the detriment of what we want and where we're going. You're either going to, and see, when I say this to certain women, I get a look. So I'll be interested to see how this one goes. If I know where I'm going, you either follow or we just won't go together because I know where I am going. I know where I'm headed. I know I'm driven. If this is where you want to be, then let's go. And this is where we're going to go. That doesn't mean you can't do your thing. It means I'm going this way. And I can't stop every single time your wants change and cater to those wants, because then it's going to stop me from doing what I have to do, all the things that I've told you that I want to do. And the moment I do that, you will not look at me as a stable person because I have now adjusted according to your wants. So now I could be distracted. I could be delayed. I could be flustered. I could be all these things. If I just stay on the path and stay the straight line and keep going, you either ride with me or you won't.
Yeah. I think women will go if they trust you. Women will go. For me, it's the same thing as the restaurant argument. Women, for whatever reason, we often don't know where we want to go eat or what we want to eat. But we also, men who have dealt with us for some level of time, know actually what we want to eat and where it's actually probably not a good idea to take us.
Yeah.
And so we will give you we couldn't make up our minds. We might say I want sushi. I really don't like sushi. I don't care, but I may bring it up. I want sushi because I'm in my mind, I really want to try this place. The man that I trust is probably going to decide to take us somewhere else. And I'm going to get there. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be fine. Yeah. And it was very smart of him not to take me to go get sushi.
Yeah, I have a checklist when it comes to those. It's like, okay, you don't know what you want? Cool.
I just make decision.
Chicken.
Yes.
I'll start throwing that. I'm not even naming a place. I'm naming food because, no, I don't want burgers. No, I don't want chicken. Okay, cool. Steak. Steak sounds good. Now that just narrowed it down to 3 or 4 different restaurants. Cool. Now I'm going to pick one and just roll with it. Roll with it at that point.
I don't even want to have to decide. I just want to just go. Ooh. If I'm having a conversation about food, that is just me talking through, just saying stuff. Just take me to the place that you want to take me to.
That's what I mean. You're so old school, though. You'll find something to eat at that place.
Because I'm very plain. It's going to have to be the man.
Every woman is like that.
I'm just saying it's going to have to be him having me to explore new foods because when we talk about the restaurant thing, I'm not a foodie kind of person. So you're gonna have to pick a place and just take us. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, see, you're old school. That's how
I like it. To a corner with food trucks.
See, Tanya says obviously he wasn't too good if he went through at least 100 women. Why are you? What?
I don't mind it because at the same time, that means he's dealt with a lot of different kind of attitudes. And how I am, he's probably encountered because women oftentimes think that we're very different from other women. Absolutely not. Most of us are very similar. Men are very much similar to each other too. There's a lot of similarities between women. We might have some differences in maybe where we grew up and regionally how we may respond. Like my mama will stab you before I'm gonna talk to you first. I'm not gonna stab you first. You know what I mean? So based on what we grew up, there might be some differences there. But
I love.
I'm just saying, I love that's how my mama will stab you first.
I have so many students, and and they're all white. Yeah. Most of them are white, and so they got to stop where I grew up on the way back from some fights, and they got to be in my pop's house, and they're sitting there, and it was funny because my pops was like, "Oh, y'all can sit down." I'm like, "I think this is the first time they've been in a black person's house outside of Madison," and one of them he was like, "Yeah, I don't think I've ever." Outside of your house, I don't think I've ever been in a black person. I don't, and it was funny. But I say all that because I was just talking about it this morning that his daughter, which is my brother's older sister, she used to throw knives at us for real. So we grew up with things just being crazy.
Of all backgrounds. I have friends from every background. And every background stabs. I can tell you that without a doubt.
Yeah, women scare me. Like women scare me in that way, and that's what helps me. Would always help me to try to be as honest as possible, especially when I'm single, because I don't want to get stabbed and I don't want to get cut. And women, what I've learned over time is that women know how to break a man's heart and break a man down worse than any man ever could. I could take getting hit by a man. Let a woman say something. Oh my goodness.
Like, and I always say, as a Sagittarius, we just as a Sagittarius, I know myself well enough. Like I know my mouth well enough.
Ooh.
So I probably would say something real reckless. But the older I get, the less reckless I am. And now I just don't deal with you. I just don't deal with you.
So bad when a woman.
I'll just cut you off.
When a woman says something, it's the most painful thing that I've ever experienced. It doesn't even have to be true. Y'all just know how to, like, me and Corey could probably sit here and talk so much shit to each other, and we would just laugh about it and be like, damn, that was good. Mm-hmm. But let a woman say something out of anger, I don't even know how to duck from that. That's just like, boom. I'm like, oh, that hurt. That hurt. Okay, let me go sit my happy ass down over here.
That's something I definitely haven't done that in like 15, 20 years. I'm not a person that just like, there was somebody who we dated when I lived in Milwaukee. I mean, this was like years ago. And he hits me up randomly and he's like, hey, I want to come up to Madison, take you out, da, 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 da. And I'll just say, I don't know why he would do it, but okay. So I think 2 times, one time he was supposed to come up and he was like, oh, he had his son or something like that, which is fine. The second time, I can't remember what happened, but the second time something happened. And then after the second time, I just blocked him. I was like, I'm tired. I don't really have time for that. And he creates another profile, hits me from that profile and gives me another story. And I'm like, I have not even talked to you in 20 plus years. And I almost said something very reckless, but I decided not to. And I really did. But because I've grown, I've matured. And I know there's a lot of men in Chicago. I didn't do it.
And you used to be with this man?
Yeah. I also get, for whatever reason, I do get the exes who will hit me up after years have passed. And for some reason want to like rekindle. I don't know why. I don't know what's the motivator or the driver.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Why? Don't do that.
Because at the same time,
don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do that.
The thing didn't work. And I don't. I really don't know. I really don't know. I tend to not give it enough time.
You're going to look at my pretty brown eyes and try to tell me that you don't know why.
I really don't. I don't, because also I'm very, I also get men who like, I think they're used to women lying to them, and I'm very straightforward. I can be socially awkward, so I might say something that's truthful, but I don't know how to like sugarcoat it, I guess. I don't know. I'm just very like straightforward and honest. And I'm very honest with men about what I see and don't want and will deal with. And this was somebody who was like that. And it's like, I don't know if he was trying to prove that now he has it together or something. I think that's maybe what he was on, but I left him for a very particular reason.
You just said you understand that men are very similar. Do we really go out of our way to prove something?
I just don't get it. I think sometimes men like to, I think y'all like to challenge yourselves, because that's how I saw this particular situation is, am I just something that you need to conquer? Like you need to come back and prove that you can conquer or whatever? And
I might give you some of that. You know what? I might give you some of that. I don't know if that's on the forefront.
I don't know. I just think that men are looking for a challenge.
You do.
I really don't know why this one came back, but they do come back, and which is
okay. Let me ask you this:
weird to me.
If you don't mind sharing,
go for it.
How close were you and this man?
We dated for over a year.
Oh, so you were close.
Oh yeah, we were very close.
See, we don't forget. We don't forget certain. There's women will stay in our mind. If it was good, if it was really good, it will pop in our mind. It will stick with our mind. And the moment we are single or available or whatever the case may be, we can definitely hit up an ex.
Y'all gotta stop though, to a degree. And I'm not saying that there could be potential.
Stop doing it to me.
I just want to say right now, there is no ex that I have that I'm interested in dating. So if you hear this.
Okay, so there's no ex, that is different with women in some regards. there's no ex that was like, oh, that you were. It was, that you would be like.
Maybe with sex, but not like as a person. Like I would, like with this person, I knew I would only be wanting to sleep with him, and that wouldn't be fair to him. So I didn't entertain it.
See,
I'm just serious. Like he's calling me being like very much wanting to get to know me, see what I'm up, and I knew I would just be like, let me just see if this is still the same. That's it. And I didn't care about nothing else. But that wouldn't be. Now that I'm mature, I know that is not the nice thing to do to people.
You know what makes you a very dangerous woman? As I sit here and I get to know you better, you are dangerous to men.
Where is it? But I'm just being honest. I'm being honest.
Can I finish, please? You are dangerous to men, but it is dangerous in a good way. Mm-hmm. You are dangerous to men because you know how to. I don't want to say it that way. You know who you are. Mm-hmm. You are healed in a way that most women are not healed in today's world. Mm-hmm. You are not swayed by the internet pop, whatever someone says. Mm-hmm. And you know that you know what you have, and you know what you bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And you understand that power within yourself. That's probably the last one is probably sums everything up. You know the power within yourself. You just the way you looked, the eye contact you made with me when you said, I didn't want to do that to him.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do it to him. I didn't want to do it to him.
You knew why he, that's why I said, you know why he's hitting you up.
But
I don't know why. You know why.
But I guess, but it's just like the relationship didn't work years ago. I'm not the kind of person that keeps in contact with, like, I don't keep in contact with exes on a regular basis only because I know myself well enough. I know myself that I don't want to revert back to any old ways and use you for a particular moment, knowing that you wanted something different from me.
But you know why they're reaching out to you.
I don't know. I really don't know.
You are sitting next to someone that is really good at reading people.
I don't know if it's sex. I don't know. It can be sex.
Of course it is. Of course it's the start
but if it's sex, but for me, that's where it will end. That will start and end. And I will let it go.
And that is why you will hook him. And you know that. Because you know if you put that on him again, right? He's going to want that more often, which automatically brings in the emotions for men.
Yes.
But that's not what you want.
For this person, absolutely not. Because he's very, and again, I don't care if you got kids, but I think he needs a parent himself, you know.
See, that, and you don't want to play that role.
No.
And you don't want to just use him.
No, and I don't want to use him like that because I was with somebody some years ago, and he was a little bit younger than me, and I was like, I think this man is in love, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm very straightforward about what I see something being and not being, and I knew for me this was all entertainment. This was like us hanging out, us having fun, us being available to keep, because again, I like men. I like men to be available to hang out with, to, fix stuff, to spend time with. I like that, and but this was just something additional. And it was like he was just being too wanting to be seen. And I was like, this isn't, no.
Wait a minute. Do you understand how confusing you just made that seem?
But if this wasn't somebody, we're not going to the movies. He literally coming over to my house at night and leaving by the morning. We're doing nothing else. But he was wanting to do these other things.
Why couldn't he play that position? What was wrong?
He was too young for me. He was too young for me.
What's young?
He was probably a little bit older than my son at the time. He was too young. He was probably like 26, 27, 28. Okay. He was too young.
Well, how long ago was this, though?
This was some years ago.
So you're saying you were in your 40s?
No, I was in probably my late 30s.
Come on. Then he wasn't.
He was too young.
No.
He was too young. He was like, and I was wrong. To a degree, because I remember we were in the same place. I used to catch the bus and park my car at one of the parking rides. And he got on the bus and I just did not talk to him at all because he was like, dude, it was too much. It was like he really wanted to hold conversations with me. And I'm like, this is supposed to be after hours.
What has he done with his life since?
I don't know what he's doing because I don't keep up with people like that.
Man,
I really don't.
So you do, but you do. So obviously you have an age cutoff.
This was something to do. This was like.
But you wouldn't, because of his age though, you never seen him.
No, and he never approached me as this is like a relationship. He approached me, but okay. Remember I was saying I tend to meet people who I'm not aligned with or not like we're not going to work in a relationship, who are ready to be in love tomorrow.
That's all men.
No, that is absolutely not. I meet men sometimes who like we're not equally yoked. It's just not. It's like it's just not going to work. I know it's not going to work. Let me rephrase
that. That's all men when they meet the woman.
Yeah.
When they meet their woman. Mm-hmm. Men will be ready to like throw it in.
Some do. I think for me it's just in Madison. I'll say it is less like it has been less likely to happen. When I'm not in Madison, I meet a good array of different kinds of men where I can see the potential being there a bit more. This last, 2 years that I've been Alder, like I'm in my second term now, I have less time to be in Chicago. But now that we're through election season, I'll be back in Chicago more often. And so I just keep wanting to say, because I want more. The thing that I want for Black women is not because Black women here sometimes I feel so sad by like not being approached by men here. And I just want them to go other places where like men will just be, you could just be walking and you are complimented all over. You know what I mean? Like, and I want Black women to experience
that. Do women even want that anymore?
I mean,
see,
I don't know if I hope they do.
See, we're talking about so many different things. If a woman walks by and a man says, "Excuse me, you look beautiful."
Yep, and I'll be like, "Look at you," I'm gonna have a whole conversation.
We will get crucified for that.
Well, if y'all see me walking by, say something to me because I'm about to have a whole conversation.
Let her know she's looking good.
But Black men do that with me. So that's why I be like, when Black women are saying like women don't approach them and stuff.
It is different in the Black community. Yeah. Maybe I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because I don't see too many Black women posting videos and photos about that. So maybe you could have me on that one. That doesn't happen.
And that the reason I just say I think oftentimes too, the reason I like my son, I love my son is a really, really dope young man. My son, I make sure my son is over the top with complimenting women, open doors, making himself, make sure that when he encounter Black women, that he is acknowledged them. Even if there's no interest or whatever, just acknowledge them. And he does it. He's over the top with it. And the reason I do is because so many Black women and Black women with teenage and young adult daughters oftentimes talk about like this lack of engagement between Black men, like they just walk past. It's weird to me that Black women say Black men walk past them and don't even acknowledge them. That's heartbreaking for me, and Black men have done it to me too, but because I'm in spaces where a lot of Black men do acknowledge me, or I'm in cities where they do acknowledge me, I don't feel this sense of like loneliness or whatever. But when you're in Madison and you're not traveling and you're not experiencing that regularly, or you're not in spaces where you experience that can feel very alone and depressing. And then like the earlier question, we talk about like me being in this role that I am as a Black woman, it is because I have built relationships with all kinds of people, including Black men, that I don't necessarily feel alone in the role. I feel some tension in the role, but that's natural. Only because for me, policy work is about like really helping Black people here get to a place where we're winning. And that puts me in conflict with people who've just been winning off the backs of us. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I really love Black men. Black men are really like, I don't know. There's just this natural chemistry between Black women and Black men. So that's why I'm always heartbroken to hear when somebody feels like they're not being seen by Black men, because I know how important it is for Black women to be seen, to be loved, to feel cared for by Black men. And I don't want to put all the work on Black men, but I do feel like Black men need to be a bit more intentional. And I say this especially to those in my network, but I would like for Black men who may hear this to be a bit more intentional when they're in spaces with Black women, to show a bit more care, to show a bit more like, I don't know, like you love them, but it doesn't have to be like this sexual, intimate, I'm trying to sleep with you kind of way, but to open up a door, to say, oh, you're beautiful today. You don't even have to say that. You could just be like, I like your glow. I like your shine. Black men have some really dope compliments. Black men say some some really good stuff. You know what I mean? So, what black men know what to say. And just show that you see them. At minimum, look at them. That's it. Just look. Even if you with somebody else. That's one reason why I appreciate the black men who are married in my network, because they are giving us examples of what it looks like to love the ones who are married to black women, how to love black women out in the open, because they can be with their wives out in the open, holding their wife's hand, and still acknowledge black women who are passing by in a non-sexual way. You know what I mean? Like, hey, sister, whatever they would say. And it doesn't feel, you don't feel this tension, you know?
That's dope.
So.
It's funny, when I moved to Wisconsin, when I came to Wisconsin and then Madison, I never dated white women. It was always black and Hispanic women, because that's the only women that were around that I was able to engage with. Especially when I moved to Madison, I was single, and I shot my shot at a couple black women, and I didn't get any play because I was mixed. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then, except for older black women, older black women would have gave me a shot any day of the week. And actually, I just had I was at a gas station, and an older black woman drove by. She was like, she just stopped. She rolled out the window, and I didn't know what she was going to say. She was like, I just have a cheek fetish, and your cheeks look amazing. And I was like, my God, thank you, sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. And I was like, oh man, I don't think I've ever been complimented like that.
Black women will definitely compliment.
Yeah.
Well.
So what about all the mixed, light skin, or anybody else that want to shoot their shot at a black woman? But you said you know where all the black women are. Where can they find them? Where can
black women are everywhere. Black men, I'm so serious. In Madison, they at school, they in their grocery stores, they at churches, they at the parks with their kids. Black women are all over Madison. And I think the difference is, and I'm only speaking for myself, there is something very attractive about a black man who approaches you in a very confident way. Now, I know black men in general can be a little nervous. They want the whole rejection thing or whatever. But at minimum, a smile and some level of confidence is really all you need. And then, not being, it don't need to be a show. Just approach a woman, say hello.
Oh, yeah.
Ask, can you do something? Yeah. If you see somebody's out, probably some of the most kind interactions that I have with black men when I'm just out in the general public is if I'm reaching for something and I haven't spotted a man to do it for me yet, somebody just someone just reaching for it.
Look, man.
I really do. I'll walk around the corner and look for a man to come and help me in a whole different aisle, and I'll bring him right to the aisle where I need something.
All my men in Madison, look, man, I don't know what y'all got going on right now, but look, she's making it easy for y'all.
Oh, I will go find him and be like, hey, I need this in that out next door.
Oh my!
Can you come over here? And they do, but men do it because men. I always tell women men are very helpful. They're very helpful. They really want to do things for you. They really want to prove that they can do it. All you have to do is set whatever the line is, and most men will meet it if they want to. They will meet it.
Okay. I got two questions for you, and this one will stay on topic.
Okay.
Why is it? What is going on? Why do women feel it necessary? And maybe you can't speak on all women, but maybe the women in your circle. Why do they feel it necessary to prove that they can do all these things? Because when it really boils down to it, I know the men I'm around. I know I'm speaking for myself. I don't care if you could change your oil. I don't care if you could open this. I don't care if you could do this. None of that matters to me. I don't care that you could do any of that stuff. I would prefer if you let me do it, because now I feel like I'm serving you and like I'm doing something dope for you, like I am needed. The biggest thing for me as a man is I want to know that I am needed by my woman.
Yep.
By the woman I am with. Let me feel needed.
Sure. So I don't think that it's, I think also, so women are also like men, we're operating oftentimes from a place of trauma, a place of not really having a good understanding of what love is and what love looks like. Because love looks like also being cared for. So a man doing whatever activities, whatever the things are, that's also oftentimes how men show they care about you, is by doing these very tasks for you. That's just a level of showing care. And so women have, sometimes we're operating from a place of being let down previously. So again, we've had to actually do everything for ourselves. Like through my older teens and younger adults, I really did have to do a lot of things for myself because my brothers were locked up, my son dad is locked up, and I was forced to have to do most things on my own. But it's also like, I think sometimes women like men are overdoing it when women are saying things like they're being over the top by explaining that they need to do this. Because at the end of the day, in general, most everybody should know how to check their oil. It's not, there's like, you don't get a cookie because you can change your oil or check your oil. So what, I know how to change mine, but I will not. I will go to somebody's house and do it. But so sometimes we're overcompensating because we're operating from a place of like unchecked trauma and being let down and disappointed. And I also want to say, having had friends who've been that kind of person, when they get with a man who is also very patient with them and will just do things for that woman and I want to a degree actually break those defenses down where she may be overly trying to prove things to her, to him, to anybody, and he's not really biting. You know what I mean? He's not biting. He's not reacting to it at all. He just go like I remember telling I was on the phone with a guy, and I'm like, let me just put you on hold because someone's picking up my, like we were just talking. I was like, my other friend is picking my car and going to go get it washed for me and put gas in it. And he was like very offended by it, but I just like met you. And he was like, oh, you got wanted, putting gas in your car. I was like, yes, this is somebody who is showing me that they care about me by taking my car, getting it washed and putting gas in it. There's nothing wrong with that. So now when I'm talking to you, I understand you're not the person who's going to show me care. Because you're so offended. It was, you got these, like, why would you want me to be cared for? Why would you want that? And I gave him an opportunity to do the same thing.
See, that's what I was wondering. Like,
I gave him an opportunity.
I instantly thought, I'm like,
I said to him before,
why wouldn't you just go do that?
I said before, like leading up to that conversation, maybe a couple of days ago, I'm tired. It's a long weekend. I am the person that will come home with an empty tank. And it happened. Came home with an empty tank. I was like, oh, I'm tired. I want to take this car to go get in. He didn't jump. I'm not saying he got to jump to solve my problem, but he didn't. Other men heard the same argument and he saw my problem by coming, telling me when he was outside, came all the way up to my fourth floor to come and get my keys, took my car to go get the car washed and put the gas in the car for me.
Yeah. So you
solved the problem for me.
You, like I said, you throw the scarves out there. You're just waiting to see who comes.
Yeah, because I can't. Because now, if I'm like in a relationship with you and I have to tell you everything, now we're gonna be beefing. It's gonna be conflict.
This is the most confusing thing for at least something that I've encountered. I won't speak on all men. I'll speak on me. I can hear you say that, right? Show up at your job, right, and say, "Hey, I'm here, and I want to go. I'm gonna go put gas in your car. I know that you were." I don't need you to put gas in my car. What do you like that?
I'm like, my keys is right here.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm only going to speak on me. I know other men can say this, but for me, that is the most confusing thing in the world because I hear you complain about something. I'm not going to make a complaint, but I hear a problem that needs to be solved. My antennas instantly, I want to solve set problem. I don't want to navigate feelings right in that moment. It's like, I can solve this problem. Let me solve this problem. And when I'm told, or when I have been told, I don't need you to solve my problems, that makes no sense to me.
But that's why I say, like, sometimes women are operating from a place of having not had that experience where someone is providing care for her on a regular basis and caring about her because she has been treated in such a way that she is looking at men sometimes, yes, from past relationships, but she don't even, to be honest with you, like some men, they don't really know what that looks like and how to accept it. So for some men, like some women who is patient with that person, they're really want to get in to know, they continue to battle through until the defenses are down. But for some other people, they kind of give up. Like the person who was like, talking mess about that, I'd pay him less time, pay the other person more time.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Because like for me, I need somebody, again, I have to solve a lot of problems and make decisions all the time. I need somebody to make my life easier. As I make your life easier, make my life easier.
So basically what I'm hearing is that Corey's from Milwaukee. He needs to go to Milwaukee, bring some brothers back. Philadelphia too.
Just go back to they all in Hyde Park.
No, they're in the DMV.
Yeah.
This is what I tell you. I tell you to go Maryland, DC, Virginia area.
I have one stalking me from the DMV right now. He follow me on all the socials. I've done to block his phone number.
You'll find everything you want there. I guarantee.
Well,
it is some nice brothers in DC though, and Baltimore. Yeah. Okay. Because I be trying to tell people black men are really gorgeous, but I think. And not in like this traditional, when people talk about like what is appealing, what is sexy, I think people forget like we originate from Africa, and Africa is such a huge continent, and you have like all these different complexions, all these different like levels of cheekbones, foreheads, like lips, noses. There's all these things, and that for whatever reason, even some black folks begin to look at like the how black people are different as like a negative, like as not attractive. And I'm like, black men to me are like the most attractive outside of black women. Black men are the second most attractive people on this planet, because I think black women are first, but black men are the most attractive people, and then everybody else.
I got you.
So yeah.
Well, my last question for you is a little bit off the topic.
Sure.
I'm glad we went down this road, because now I'm letting you know I want to have another conversation.
I'm just saying we need to come back and actually talk about the organics.
Yeah.
We went to
but no, I love it. Yeah. And the people that tend to follow me, my biggest group, my supporters are 90% women. And so they're going to love this conversation. They're going to absolutely adore this conversation. So, but my question is, the podcast is called You Control You.
Okay.
It's all about letting people know that you can operate your own machinery, operate your own body, operate your own mind. And I'm a firm believer of God. And I believe every message God gives me, he also blessed me with a choice. I can walk the path he gave me, or I can walk the other path. And if I walk the path he gave me, I'm truly operating my machine and I'm controlling me. You control you. What was that? But we all deal with moments where we're not operating our own car the right way. We're not operating our brain the right way. We're not operating things the right way. When was that moment? Or can you give me one of those moments where you were like, yeah, I had to make an adjustment. I had to change what I was doing so I can be in control of my own mind, my own body, my own everything, so I can really take control of my life?
Yeah, it had to be when I decided to move to Madison. Like I had to I was holding on to the relationship with my son's father a little bit too long. And it was, all this stuff was like weighing me down emotionally, like mentally. It was very exhausting. And I'm running and solving everybody else's stuff. But meanwhile, I'm like about to lose my apartment, don't got to sit there for my son. And so I was like, if I'm really going to like really be good for my kid and I got to get up out of here and I got to get away from these people. And so I literally packed my son up and we left. Again, I didn't know my uncle was here when I moved here, but it was sort of like disconnecting myself, because oftentimes Black women, we're put in a position where we got to take care of everybody. We got to defend everybody. We got to be available to everybody. We got to use our financial resources for everybody. But then like you're left depleted at the end of it. And so, and the dysfunction was creating like more havoc in my life. You know what I mean? So once I disconnected, and I moved my family here now, years later. But once I disconnected from them and I was like, I can just see, I can focus on myself. I can focus on my son. And we ended up being good because I just had to disconnect from like that dysfunction. And I didn't realize looking back how like my life was so chaotic, not because I was creating the chaos, but because I was entertaining everybody else's chaos. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for having this conversation. I wish there were more Black men for you ladies.
No, but I want to say, if we dated in the past, this is not an invitation to text me, Facebook message me, call me, send me an email at my Alder account either, because I've had that happen before. I am not interested.
She is basically saying that all the good memories that you might have saved up are just memories.
It's just memories.
Do not hit her up thinking that you're going to make new memories
at all.
She does not bring back any former players. Once you are fired from your job, once you have been dismissed, or once you decided to leave this job, once you have decided you're not going to play in this role, you're done. You've been cut from the team. You're no longer coming back into this building. That's not how she operates. Only new recruits. New recruits.
Yes.
Only beautiful black and brown recruits that are above the age of 32.
At minimum, you got to be like 40.
40 now.
40 at minimum.
40. So anybody
Please.
40 and above, that means, wait, if you're 40 and above, you should be able to have your own place. You should have a car, or if you live in a big city, you know the bus schedule, train schedule, or you have a bike of some kind. You subway, yeah. So you have a job that's paying halfway decent money, and
that you can care for yourself. You're not stressed out.
And this one I harp on all the time. Men, you should be taking care of your kids. There's no reason. Like I don't hear any excuse that's
my
good,
friend works for child support, and I would definitely tell her where you live at if I find out you live at your child support.
Like there's
it's
too easy. Like
I'll help your child's mother find you.
Yeah, I have 2 kids. It didn't work out. My kids have never not been in my life. Like they live where I live. They go to school where I deem them going to school. That's how that works. To me, that's being a man and making sure you take care of your own. So if you're 40 and above and you're not doing those things, that seems minimum. That seems like bare bones.
Yeah, it's just like, I just want to be with somebody who's good, like you, ready for, goodness. And it's not like, I don't want to say I'm like, oh, I need somebody who's ready for love, because maybe you and I won't be in a relationship where we're loving each other. Maybe what we were meant to be is just to be good to each other for the time being as we're learning and getting to know someone else.
And be honest with yourself. Make sure you can go longer than 60 seconds. Like, make sure you can do that. She didn't argue with that one. I also want to say,
if I accept a phone call and you were from my past, that is the only reason I'm likely entertaining it. So I just want to be honest with you. So you probably should not hit me up, because
she's gonna break your heart. She's gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
She gonna put it on you and then send you home, and she won't send you home with a lunch. That's sad.
If I'm gonna be literally like, God bless you. Have a good day. A good weekend.
Oh wow.
That's why I'm very honest and upfront and try not to pretend.
What you just said, like, that's something I could see my ex-wife say to somebody.
Oh, I've said it.
Like, that's funny. Oh man.
I'm gonna send this to the person I said it to maybe a year or so ago.
Oh man.
He was so offended, but it was just like, I told you what it is, and you kept hitting me up or whatever, and I'm like, well, you know what? God bless you.
Why you do it to his soul like that?
Because he would. Sometimes you have to be like so truthful to cause a little conflict. They can leave you alone.
Like, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
You got,
But the thing I want to add to what you're saying, that the person who hits me up, just be a good person. That's the end of the day. Be a good person. And by being good, like, I don't really mess with people who are mean to people, like you mean to waitresses and stuff like that. Like, I don't get down like that. Like, if you and your mama don't get along, cool. Me and my mama don't get along either, but I'm not out here like roasting her. Like being mean to her.
What, man?
Some people talk reckless about their moms.
I don't have any.
And I get it.
I don't have any men in my life that are like the men you keep describing.
I meet all kinds of men. I meet good men. I meet men who still working on something, working on themselves. But it's just like, at our ages, we're at a point where we should have our stuff together or close to having it together and working on ourselves and not fighting ourselves to be better. Like, and I always tell people too, like, I am perfectly okay if I'm not the person for you. Like, you don't need to come to me and try to prove that you're a good person for me. It will show. It's good. You can only hide yourself for so long. It'll come through.
You are a powerful
You don't have to come prove anything to me, because you can only like pretend to be who you're trying to be for a limited amount of time.
You are beyond dangerous.
Yeah.
I see now. I don't know why men would be intimidated by that.
He found me on he Cash App and did a whole.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And my last name is Madison, so you don't. I mean, feel free to throw me in Cash App. I don't really it don't bother me, but my last name is my last name. And I do want to say, now after having some experiences, I actually do think people should Google me first, because if someone who has my background is bothersome from you, you should just go ahead and find all the stuff out about me now and see if you can deal with it.
I don't understand any of that, because I don't understand what would bother. Based on,
I think some people feel like you don't have to be like, I'm not asking you to have my background. These are my accomplishments, my awards, my recognitions. You don't have to match my background at all. Like, I'm not looking for that. You be a good person. You be good to the people in your social network, to your family, your kids, whoever is in your life. Be a good person. That's what I want you to match. Match my goodness, not my accomplishments.
Yeah, your life doesn't dwindle mine.
It's ego and insecurity.
Yeah, that's what I don't. Is that why I'm not understanding? Yeah, like it's
those are the two things.
What you do doesn't stop me from doing what I got to do
at all. But like I said, I think for some people, it's been my experience for a few people that has been a challenge for them. And again, that's why I always say, after you Google me, and if you're feeling like this tension, you don't know, I'm probably not the person to hit up. I'm probably not the person, because I'm trying to get a library built in my district. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just did a groundbreaking. Like, I'm always going to be talking about what I'm winning at and what I'm working on. Like, that's really not going to stop.
Man.
So, yeah.
If
you're from Chicago, don't just
you know what?
Call me even quicker.
You know what? I'm not hating on that, because I mean, that's still home for me. So it makes sense. It's just it's hard for me to.
It's from Milwaukee. It's like, not to say Madison men don't got that kind of swag, but there's a certain kind of swag that like Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee.
It's
a confidence.
You know, it's something that I've even talked about with young men.
Mm-hmm.
We can tell who actually comes from a certain background, because they don't get bothered by the same things that these young men from Madison get bothered by. And you see this at a young 14 to 18-year-old. It's like the things that I see men get bothered by in Madison, I'm like, I would have been happy if that was just my life where I grew up. Like, and it doesn't mean that it wasn't hard for them or they didn't have to deal with trauma. It's just like, so you don't even know you don't know how to live outside of your ego. Your ego and your pride are your everything, where I'm so used to at a young age, getting my ego checked. Like, if I just survived on ego, I may not make it off the block that day. It's like, at some point you had to learn how to shut up. Like, you couldn't even talk to the police the way I hear people. It's like, if they said, hey, get off the corner, you got 5 minutes. Otherwise, we're coming through here with, it's like, why are we arguing? I'm not going to argue with you about this. We're moving different. And the last part, women are mean in Chicago. I try to explain this to my guys. Like, growing up, if you're waiting to play balls because all the old heads are playing ball, you listen to the women talk about their men on the court amongst themselves. It's like, oh, we got to operate it. Like, and when you're 13 and you're hearing a woman say something about one of the older cats, that, like,
it's just
just you understand you got to move differently. So I'm not hating on that. I do wish.
It's some dope black men here, though. It is. Like, I got some homeboys in my network who are really but we're not like, I don't know that we're interested in each other like that. You know what I mean? I think I mostly meet black men here in professional settings or spaces where I'm hosting events and I'm the one producing a thing. So I'm not really meeting men. And when I meet men mostly here in Madison, they're like, hey, Alder Madison, or hey, Miss Progress, Miss Thing. Like, they see me more like in a professional sense. When I'm outside of Madison, I get to just be myself, be open, be
so
chill.
Is that a man problem, or is that maybe you not putting your guard down to let them know because you're playing Alder
No. That's how men approach me. Men are so respectful. I'm not saying I want to be disrespectful. I'm trying to tell you, black men here, hey, I'm trying to tell you, men see me here as first, like those, whatever they know me as, their professional accomplishment, that's how they approach me. The ones who approach me outside of that seem to be, all of that is like too much for them sometimes, or they actually don't know who I am. And we talk for a minute or whatever, and they realize how engaging or how in a community I am, and that might come up. But I feel less tension in dating when I'm talking to somebody not in Madison. When I'm talking to somebody here, It feels like there's a little bit more tension.
And that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, and it's understandable. From what I'm hearing, is that maybe, is there a chance that maybe you're not dropping that scarf for these men?
Oh, I drop it here sometimes.
Are you dropping it to all the men, though, that could be available because they're addressing you as Miss Alder, or they're addressing you in a professional manner to start out with? Do they even know that they have a chance to shoot their shot?
In recent history, I feel like I've dropped a hint to maybe one or two. But again, I think after I've done my little flirting or whatever, you don't pick it up, I can't really... My attention span is like so short for that I know that there are so many other men.
Yeah, that's because you're like, hey, I'm going to Chicago.
Yeah, literally.
But okay, I see.
So it's just like why I can't do I need to like throw myself at you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know how to
I got you.
I just don't know how to like I can't make sense of like someone not picking it up, but I also feel like if you're interested in me, I'll know. You will make it known. Like, so I'm not really a fan of like this mystique and mysterious stuff or whatever.
You're old school with it.
Yeah, if you're not straightforward, then I don't think I'm the person for somebody who is not going to approach me at some point, because our personalities are probably going to clash at some point.
Yeah, I fully understand what you're saying. It makes sense. Like, and the way you operate is... it makes sense for our generation. Like, I get it.
Yeah, like you gotta like show some kind of something. And again, like this one. Let me turn this phone up just in case he takes me now. But the person who's like having me trying to make all the decisions about stuff is like, hey, I'm used to men who like, if they're hitting me up, they've already decided what we're gonna do, where we want to go. They might have asked me one or two. And I'm just like, hey, what do you want me? You want me to be ready at 7 o'clock on Saturday? I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be waiting. You just tell me what we're doing. I'm
telling you, it's just confusing because when it's...
they be like, do you do... and I'm like...
because we get told.
And I will give you some answers. I will be like, here's some things that I've liked in the past, but I'm really okay with whatever you plan.
See,
like,
right
I'm perfectly
there,
okay.
Right there, that's when they have to take the lead. See, you're at least saying, take the lead, fly it in, let's go. And so you're doing those things. And so I can't defend them. I'm trying to defend y'all. Do y'all understand? I'm trying so hard to defend y'all. Y'all out here making it hard though. Like,
I'm in Chicago. I'll be like, I'll be there Saturday morning or whatever. I'll be like, all right, okay, I'm gonna come pick you up at 11 o'clock. And I ain't had to make no more decisions from 11 o'clock on. I ain't had to do nothing.
Yeah, that's fun.
But just show up, get dressed. Even I remember somebody picking me up, like I always stay at the Sophie Hotel in Chicago on 53rd Street. And I remember somebody like did all the work to find out what was in the vicinity, so they can park across the street and we can just...
So why aren't you just married? Why aren't you marrying some of these men?
It's just...
It's
just like...
What? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of these, I think it's also like, I'm not willing to sort of like rush into anything either. Like, I also want to make sure that it's good for me.
See, look at your face. You saying that. I
do want to make sure that it's good for me. Like, because at the same time, it's like I do think about moving to Hyde Park, right? And so I'm not going to say that I'm not.
There must be a really good dude that just did something really good there. Because I can't imagine it's just a whole bunch of them. But I bet you there's one that maybe still in rotation, that isn't fully out of rotation yet, that really like, he's piqued your interest. He has got you. He is, whatever he's doing behind the closed doors is matching what he's doing doing out in the open?
I'll just say I'm still single. I'm single until I'm engaged or married. So.
Wait. Hold up. Pause on that one. Wait a minute. Rewind. Because I'm telling you right, like I'm looking at you dead. If hypothetical situation.
Sure.
If I was seeing you, right? we're gonna have a conversation because if I'm taking you out, the moment that we even get to, like, this is how grown I am now.
Yeah.
Because I did this with my wife, the moment it's like we can start and maybe not be whatever you want to call it, but I doubt I play that non-exclusive. Look, we're either exclusive or like that's fine. You do you, but I'm removing myself from this situation because I am letting you know that I'm into you. I want this to go further and deeper, and that we've already experienced behind closed doors. Everything is great there. We're already kicking it. Everything is great here. I'm not okay with you seeing other men. If that's what you want to do, live your life. It just won't include me. You're now telling me that you're still going to operate as a single woman.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that.
That's okay. Because
what I'm saying is I am single and I've not had that conversation in particular.
What would you do if a man had that conversation with you?
Then it's the last couple years that hasn't happened. But when it's happened, I think I was with that person for almost 7 years. And the relationship worked, but I knew I didn't want to have more kids, and I think he wanted to have more kids. And I was like, I just know it's not going to go anywhere.
He's just going to get frustrated.
Yep. And so I was just like, I ended that one.
Yeah, she go fry us. Like, I'm trying to go hard for the men. Like, but no, like that, it's...
No, I just want to be clear. So for the person who I feel like is good for me and we agree that we're good for each other, I'm willing to concede, like to make some concessions in my life in order to make it work because I've accomplished so much. I only have one more thing that I'm working towards accomplishing, and I can accomplish that anywhere. You see what I'm saying? I've worked since I was like 13 years old. My office has awards on all the walls that I've accomplished. You know what I mean? So
this man must be doing something really nice.
I'm trying to tell you,
There's not a man.
I am not even finna go to because
look at you, like you can't hide it. You can't hide it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I have not met someone who I'm willing to sort of begin to make some. To give things in my life to make it work.
In Chicago right now, there's not a man. There's not a man right now. You're saying...
I'm saying I've not met a man, period, in any city that I spend time in where I am willing to start to adjust my life for.
May I ask you a personal question?
Go for it.
Do you know how to cook?
I do know how to cook. I really like men who cook, but I do know how to cook.
Okay. Can we stop leaving this beautiful woman out here in the open that is dedicated to doing something for the community? Like, she's willing to let you be a man. First of all, speaking as a man, that's not easy.
You got to be a man for real. For real, a man's
that's
man.
Not easy. Like, that means you're gonna get to do some yard work. You're gonna get to fix up the house. You're gonna get to go to work, and you probably get to chill and watch a game.
Yes, because wait a minute. I had a man who was upset because I love football. Like, I'm not like no fake football watcher.
Wait, who you rooting for though?
So I have new players now because Coach Prime's got 4 young men who got drafted this round. So I was already a Lamar Jackson fan, but I'm a Baltimore fan. Definitely got to now watch the Cleveland Browns because of Shador.
If he makes the team, yeah.
If he don't make the team, I swear to God, I will protest. And then I absolutely love Xavier Legette, but now Jimmy Horn Jr. is also with the Carolina Panthers. And his other son, Shiloh, is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bucks, yep.
So Baltimore, Cleveland. Oh, and then, Travis got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I was talking like when during football season, you just get so like, you just in it, right? Yeah. And he was, I'm sure whatever he was talking about was fine. It was an okay conversation, but I really wanted to talk about the upcoming draft. And I was really like, I want to talk about Keon Coleman in particular. He was so annoyed that I'm talking about football. He wasn't really a football. He was just like,
what?
He was like, that's so sexy that you love football, but he wanted to change the subject. And I'm like, I'm going to have to call somebody else.
Check, please.
Yeah. Because at the time, it was just like, football season is so short to a degree. It's long, but it's short. Where the NFL draft just happened. They're in mini camp right now. I think they're doing like other team activities for another couple weeks.
You want to talk about the draft while we in bed? Let's go. You want to talk about the draft while we eating? Let's go. You want to talk about the draft while I'm Mitch? Let's go.
I've only met one man who was like that. The other people I've talked to haven't been like that.
What happened to that man?
Oh, I don't be bothered with. I think he blocked. Let me see. I think he still might be blocked. And that I
blocked him.
I will say.
Wait, why you get rid of him?
Because it was just like, I want to talk about the NFL stuff, and he just could not like.
No, I'm talking about the man that could talk about the NFL stuff.
Oh, I didn't, Yeah, like, I don't know. I haven't really got rid of. It's more so like.
She said I ain't got rid of him yet. He's still in the rotation.
No. I'm just saying, like, what was wild is that he actually could talk about football because he played football in high school. But I don't know if it was like because he didn't make it. It was hard. I don't know what it was.
Man, football is
But I'm like, I want to be able to talk about football. Like, and that's
you didn't even name the Packers, so thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a Packer fan.
Oh, okay.
That's my team right there.
We're gonna have beef.
The Bears. I was so happy that none of Coach Prime's kids went to the Bears. I thank God that none of the young people that I was following in high school went to the Bears. I was so happy. Like, thank you, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, I will be a hater even in Illinois. I don't.
You could be a hater, but when
I went
your
to
teams
Dick's,
get smashed,
I made somebody because the young man that was finna check me out had on the Bears jersey. I was like, I'm gonna need somebody else to check me out, and I was so serious. I was like, I cannot have this bad vibes like going throughout my day with you checking me out.
Oh, so I know who to hit up when the Packers are playing the Bears.
Let's do it because y'all
I'm
have a history of losing to us. So
really. What happened?
Absolutely.
What happened that last game? What?
That was
what?
recent, but look at our long. We gotta look at the numbers, the stats.
You're right.
Over time,
y'all
used to losing to us. So
yeah, but it goes in decades, right?
It
goes in spurts because in the 70s and 80s, the Packers couldn't do nothing.
I was just born in the 70s.
The 90s and the 2000s so far, not even the 90s. You guys didn't even dominate in the 90s.
Long as
Favre and Rodgers basically had y'all numbered.
Those two quarterbacks.
Long as we dominated
they've had 20 years, but I was born in 80. So like that's like me saying, so we dominated in the 80s and 90s, and then y'all just came about.
The answer is we dominated y'all. That's what matters most here in this conversation.
And over the last 20 years, until that last game, we got a whole new quarterback.
Caleb Williams is not about to.
And we got a whole new offensive line. Did you not see
trash?
What we did in the
the thing about it is the Chicago Bears are trash. Y'all will take something that is good. Like what's old boy name that got? He was it Justin Fields?
Yeah, Justin Fields.
Look at y'all.
But we didn't have an O-line. I didn't want to draft.
Now? Isn't he with the Jets now? Did he go to the Jets?
Yeah, he's with the Jets. Yeah, but the Jets
watch he thrived at the Jets. Watch he's right.
I would agree with that if the Jets but the Jets don't have an offensive line. They're worse than the Bears. They don't have an offensive line. That's why Rodgers kept getting smacked.
I enjoy seeing the Chicago Bears struggle every year. I enjoy it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm gonna enjoy our conversation during football season.
Oh, please bring me back during
I see how this is
especially
gonna
go.
He's a Philly fan.
Oh, the Eagles. Y'all.
I was born in PA.
They just won the Super Bowl, so you can't really say nothing.
I mean,
and everybody loves Jalen Hurts.
I like Jalen Hurts, and he just got married too. I really like Jalen Hurts, but I just y'all not finna win again this year though. I can tell you that much.
About that.
The Eagles
it's hard to stay healthy.
Kansas not finna win.
It's hard to stay healthy.
I'm really giving it to I really want the Packers to
Packers aren't doing that,
but I really think it's gonna be the Lions. I really always gonna roll with Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna give him the leg up.
I don't think the Lions are going to do anything this year.
I don't know.
I think losing their offensive coordinator. I think they lost their defensive coordinator. Yeah, that's a Bears head coach now.
That don't mean. But when the Bears get something good, y'all, they just like it don't even matter. You can say whatever you want to say about who the Bears get. It's just like y'all get it and then
so Chicago can have good men, but we can't have a good football team.
Y'all doing something right in the city. It's something right in the city, but when y'all get on the football field, it goes trash. Even the colors. Orange.
What?
The colors. Like, who want to walk around in the blue? What is it? Blue and orange?
That's fine. Who wants to walk around in dark military green and yellow? Gold.
Everything about the Bears is trash. Even like the fans.
You can't even talk about the colors when you talk about the Packers.
During NFL season, like at the height of it, the Chicago Bears fans trash.
I don't.
Y'all are trash.
I will say this. I'm not a big fan of how the Bear fans get a little delusional. And
y'all like Cowboy fans at this point.
It's no.
They rival Cowboys fans. We gonna win a Super Bowl this year.
You're not.
Okay.
I was just on your side until you took it that far. There's levels. There's levels. We can't go
fans every year.
We can't go that far. We're not like Cowboy fans. When I say delusional, delusional to the point where I'll see Bear fans root against Packers doing something against somebody else that isn't. They're not playing the Bears, and they're talking like. That's too much. That's too much. I'll talk a lot of crap about the Packers when y'all play the Bears. When we spank y'all, I'm good.
I treat the Bears like I treat Draymond Green. I literally will wake up during football season looking for something to hate on for the Chicago Bears. That's how I do them. I ain't even gonna lie.
So you're some
during NBA, like right now, every morning I get up, I was like, let me see what Draymond did. I was hoping he got another technical foul because he got 2 more. He out of the series. They finna lose anyway, but I want him to be kicked out.
They're only gonna lose because Curry's hurt.
Yeah,
I don't think Ant beats them, but. He might win a title, and Tatum just got hurt.
I know. I was so sad to see that. I really was rooting for the Celtics this year.
So let me say this.
Okay, now we're off of sports. All right.
No. Let me say this. When we win the division,
oh my God, sounds like Dallas.
And
you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
The Packers got. Wait, are you saying out of anybody?
Yes,
I would say the Lions. I would say the Lions. Our defense is better than the Packers.
Oh my gosh! You did all of this pausing just to give us a trash thing.
It's gonna be if you told me the Lions. It's hard to say about Minnesota.
And y'all gonna win the division
against them? Just in the division.
Bruh, the Vikings.
The Vikings offense.
I think they shocked. I do believe they shocked people last year. I believe they were able to shock people last year.
See, this is what these fans do.
No. I'll give it to the Lions. The Lions are rough because they didn't lose really anybody except for the coaches. So the Lions are still tough. I have to see. And man, I just can't. I can't give it to the Packers. I can't give it to the Packers.
That's because the Bears fans, and I get it. I know it has to be really difficult to deal with us, and y'all lose to us so frequently. That has to be a challenge.
Just recently, it took y'all like 30 years. It took you 30 years to finally have a winning record against us.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't until the Rodgers era. Later in his career that you guys actually...
He ain't even playing right now. You bringing up Rodgers and Brett Favre.
3 Super Bowls in the 60s, though?
Yeah, but they still couldn't beat us.
You talking about all this previous history stuff. We talking about recent, and y'all just
we just beat y'all recently. We just beat y'all recently.
A single game out of...
who's talking about the past now?
It's giving Cowboys. It's giving Cowboys. It's giving Dak Prescott.
That's a bit much. I'm
surprised. I thought they were gonna draft what's his name, Ashton Jency, but ended up going to the Raiders. I just knew he was gonna end up a Cowboy. So I can roast him.
So this football season is gonna be fun. I see who I'm reaching out to about that. I can't talk anything to Corey because you'll
be watching football. I love
but
football.
I can't talk. How am I going to talk? They just won the Super Bowl, and they're basically bringing back the same team. So
Saquon back too, right? Yeah, Saquon back. Yeah.
So it's
Jalen healthy.
That man just like
AJ healthy.
I was like him just running. I was just like Jesus. It's just like he's like a robot or something. The way he performs.
The Giants. The Giants are forever
trash. I want them to stay trash.
Yeah. It's like what were you thinking? But
and then what's old boy Tomlin? What's his team again? The Steelers.
Steelers.
Didn't they get what's his name? Tyler ShaH. I was like, this is the most. I hope they have a horrible season.
They didn't get no quarterback.
Did they get Tyler?
New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he went to the Saints.
Yeah.
My bad. Then. Oh yeah, that's right. Because they still waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision.
I don't know.
Trash.
That's not even a decision if you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
They must got a high round pick for next year. I haven't looked at who has what next year.
They got no quarterback.
Yeah.
Didn't get Shador. That made no sense.
Yeah. That's
all. Dirty.
Yeah.
I don't even want. I'm just.
On that note, we gonna bring it back. We gonna talk about more football later on. Thank y'all, man. You control you. We out.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat inside the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in. Belly scraping by, but now I'm paid. Look at the paper I raked and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the song at the war show. They're coming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You a cat and save a whole you just I